Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. We're up to semi-final stages, and yesterday's game was nowhere near as close as many people thought, but it has been confirmed. The Chiefs through to the final now. They are in the beneficial position here that if the Blues, the underdog, win this contest up against the Hurricanes, well, the Chiefs would get to host that final. Whereas on the other side of the equation, currently, the Hurricanes, of course, sitting very nicely top of the table. All the momentum moving into this match. If they beat the Blues, the final will also be taking place at the same location as the semi, and that will be in Wellington. But this contest, two stacked sides. The Blues, they were the lucky loser. They were the team that finished as the highest ranked loser from last week. So they got the lifeline, and now they want to make the most of it. They've stacked their side. And these two teams, they know how to score points. Like I said, the game yesterday, we saw a huge amount of points being scored, particularly by the Chiefs rather than the Crusaders. But it should be a very thoroughly entertaining game throughout the 80 minutes. Looking through at the starting lineups for the Hurricanes, it is Xavier Numia, Asafo Amoa, and Basilio Tosi as the number 3. Caleb Delaney alongside Warner Dearns in that locking duo with Brad Shields, Duplessis Karefi, and Peter Larkai then slotting in as the number 8, Cam Roigard and Ruben Love. Both have had their own injury issues through the second half of the season, but they partner together here up against Finlay Christie as well as Stephen Perafeta. Fihi Frianofo, another man that has had a few issues with the injury department, but he currently sits tied for the most tries in a Super Rugby Pacific or Super Rugby in general season. He's got 16. He would only need to cross the try line once here today to be able to make a little bit of history for himself. Geordie Barrett and Billy Proctor, they will be the midfield combination. Josh Morby out on the right wing. He also has started to get up there in terms of the amount of tries scored this year. And then at number 15, again, they have gone with Callum Harkin to close out what is a very attacking-minded 15 here for this Hurricanes team. For the Blues in their starting lineup, Ovatoinga Fasi, Bradley Slater, and Marcel Renata as the 3 men making up the front row. Patrick Tuipulotu partners with Sam Derry in the locks, with Torian Barnes, Anton Segner, and Hoskins Satutu in the loose forward trio. We did see last week Rampling got himself the suspension, so even if the Blues were to win this game, he would be unavailable for the final. But still some pretty handy options. Segner, he is considered as a very much so potential All Blacks bolter. If he can back it up with a big game here, he will certainly go a little bit closer to that All Black squad. In the back line, Finlay Christie and Stephen Perafeta, like I mentioned, as that 9 and 10 combination. Caleb Clark out on the left wing, Cole Forbes out on the right. Kaeli and Lamb make up the midfield, and Bowden Barrett back at number 15. He's had a few injury troubles, but Bowden now back, and he's got a lot of experience under his belt. Now, they were showing a stat earlier on in the build-up show that was talking about the Hurricanes and their pretty rough record in semi-finals as of late. And a lot of the times they've actually had to go up against the Brumbies in playoff games, particularly in Canberra, which haven't gone too flash for this Hurricanes team. We have got there, holy smokes, that is a lineup for the Hurricanes. The Blues are effed, says Tanner there. We have got the Hurricanes 100 plus, says Johnny Blaze, and Fihi to add to his tally tonight, says Jeff. And yeah, if he scores himself one, does become the most decorated scorer in a season of Super Rugby in history. Morning, Amish Hurricanes to win. Thanks for the commentary, says Joss. No worries at all. Hello from Thailand as well, says Jasmine. Hope you are doing very well indeed. But currently 16 minutes away from the start of this contest. Of course, last night we saw the one-sided affair in favour of the Chiefs. So they have booked themselves through to the final, but there is still one more spot up for grabs, and it will be one of these two teams who do manage to secure it. Duplessis Karefi is known as a bit of a jackler. He will be one who goes and tries to get himself many turnovers throughout this contest. Where's the German boy, Anton Segner? He is actually at 7. For some reason, it's got Dalton Papali who snuck into the lineup, but no, Segner is in the starting side rather than Dalton. I'll comment at the Hurricanes will win, and Blues about to be wholly smoked, says Simon. And we have got this ain't fair, bro. That's going to be a violation, says Tanner too. And also up the Blues, says Steady Gaming. And also we have got there Sawat Cap Jasmine. Is that maybe Thai? I don't know my other languages too well at all. They are just showing their Brad Shields overtakes Dane Coles as the third most capped Hurricane with 142. Did you hear about the hedge fire? Waikato Boys High School on Tuesday. I haven't heard a single thing about it. But Normally when a hedge goes on fire, someone's responsible for it. So hopefully no one was hurt in the process. But currently 15 minutes away. Yeah, it's tie. Says Paul Thompson there too. But they are just talking to Brett Cameron, a man who unfortunately did suffer that injury near the start of the season. They actually lost him and Harry Godfrey around very similar times. The Hurricanes are on a 9-match winning streak at this stadium. Trying to work out how many games they've actually played this year at this location. Be a fair old few. Would it be 9 though? I feel like they have had a very good run this season. They've scored a huge amount of points. I'm just going to show you the regular season table and the way that it sits. Currently the Hurricanes 264 in their favour in terms of points differential. They are up against the Blues. They've got a 44 points differential. So, 220 points difference between these two sides. And the Hurricanes have only won 3 more games. So that does tell you that when they really get going, they certainly keep on flowing. Can bring up the half century. They did it up against the Brumbies just last week. They'll be looking to do it here again up against the Blues. We have got there go the Blues. Chiefs own final. Chiefs champions, says Jake. And also we have got there, anyone seeing Toy Story 5 next week? It is coming out, isn't it, in the near future? I actually recently learnt that Tom Hanks doesn't always voice Woody, which I found quite surprising. He actually has a brother who does all of the information or like the little jobs in terms of voiceover stuff for toys and whatnot. Where is this? Says George, the game taking place at Hnry Stadium, which can be a little bit confusing because it used to be Sky Stadium, but then they changed the name to Hnry. I'm trying to adjust that green screen because it keeps on trying to slip down at the moment with where it's sitting. This is about to be another blowout, isn't it? I hope not. I hope we can get a slightly closer, well, in fact, I hope it's a much closer game. Where's the bathroom? Says Isaac, and also we have got there Canes Chiefs final, says Lawrence, and also I say Chiefs. I want Blues to win so that they can host the final, says Clifford. And we have got their weather for the match here, Stuart. It does look relatively nice at the moment in terms of the overall weather conditions. There isn't really a lot of anything that is happening in terms of rain or anything like that in the forecast. I think it's also supposed to not be too windy, which is ideal. So hopefully that is going to be the way that it stays throughout the rest of the match. I've always felt like the Blues, we're missing a crucial piece, which is blindside flanker. It seems like ever since Akira Ioane left, they struggled. And maybe Torian Barnes is the missing piece. Says Tanner too. Yeah, it will be intriguing to see what Barnes can bring next season because, of course, they are going to be missing the options of Satutu as well as Papali'i. So, you take those guys out of the equation, you've got a little bit more of a gap that needs filled. Now, of course, there are all the rumours about whether or not it could be Savia or whether it could be, anyone along those lines, a potential signing of Tupo Taialoa or Miracle Whaialangi. But I do think they've actually got a decent option there in terms of who they've currently got in their mix. Definitely if Seaton makes his way into the All Blacks, it's going to be a good one. There's technical issues already. Says Robert there. We have got there, it'll be a grueling match. Both sides we get banged up. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The Chiefs will be looking at this game as one that, of course, they won't be hoping anyone goes down with injuries, but they'll be hoping that these two sides get very fatigued because it's going to be a relatively quick turnaround, only the 7 days, which I know is, it's decent enough, but any sort of little knocks that you take can last that little bit longer. We saw for the Chiefs, Tupaia ended up with the injury. We saw Lalakai Foketi also going down with one. Hutchinson, he might be out. We haven't heard too much of an update on him. Satiti 2 weeks ago. Torian Barnes and Rappling are the future. Those two were outstanding against the Chiefs and the Crusaders. Says Tanner 2 and come on the Blues. I'm a South African. I would like a good underdog story, says XTZ. And we have got there 40 plus for the Canes. Oh, okay, so you're going similar game to what we saw yesterday in terms of the one-sided type of affair. I thought last night's game would be close. Wasn't I picked the Canes to smash the Blues. Who really knows? Go the Canes. Says the real Ando. Yeah, see, last night's game, everyone that I saw pretty much said within about 10 points the two sides being. Some optimistically said 15 points in favour of one side. But the Hurricanes, by the looks of it, are expected to win this game by a chunky old margin. I'll get the exact number now while we're at it, but they're given a good shot of being able to get themselves pretty handy victory. But at the same time, if the Blues show up, because we've got to remember, the Blues heading into this game, they are on a massive losing streak. But they've only lost to New Zealand sides as of late. I know, Anton, he is there. It's just a typo. It was supposed to be Segner, but I think it has Papa Lee from a couple weeks ago. But yeah, Segner is in that number 7 jersey. You should send them an email and change it to Hnry Stadium. That would cost a lot of money, I would think, to be able to rename a stadium. Canes win 21 plus, says Pro Pleb. I'm going for the Canes tonight, says Matthew. And come on the Blues. And also, if you actually look at the games against the Chiefs, they were missing 3 crucial tight 5 forwards. And the Crusaders, they lost Rampling early, says Tanner 2. Yeah, well, the thing is, they, of course, have to keep 15 men on the field for this game, because if they make any sort of mistake, like the Rampling one, of course, the injuries from the game up against the Chiefs, I would say, yep, absolutely. But the reason that they were missing Rampling in that Crusaders game is because of his own stupidity. So, like, I don't like to use getting a card as an excuse for sides when it's their own fault for getting the card. Like, injuries happen and they're unfortunate, and sometimes that can change a game. But yeah, if you get a red card because you hit a guy in the head, then it's like that's your own team's fault, isn't it? Rather than like the excuse of it. What's up with the 2 captain system in the modern game? I think it's just to have a little bit more variety. Have 2 men out there just in case there is some sort of injury. But we've got to remember as well, Duplessis, Karefi and Geordie Barrett, they weren't on the same page last week, because there was a time where Karefi wanted the corner and Barrett wanted the 3. And in the end, there was a little bit of a back and forth, which eventually was decided on. They might as well go for the 3 points in the end. And I think that was down to Barrett having that little bit of experience in terms of playoff games. Not so much for the Hurricanes, but for Leinster throughout last season of the URC, plus probably still the slightly senior role, I guess you could say, even though I think they're about the same age. And we have got Go the Blues, says Mr. Tappan. And also we have got the Hurricanes 47 to the 19. It's the prediction there. And Tosso Hurricanes Tosso, says Leone. And there as well. But do let me know your score predictions for this game, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone who hasn't already, this game kicking off in only around 8 minutes' time. So we are very close to the start of this game. It's going to be a bit of a back and forth type of matchup. You get that feeling anyway for the early stages. First point, good evening, Amish. Good to see you. Second point, I said North Island final affair, but not least the Hurricanes 25 plus. Last week was a throwaway game though, wasn't it, says Pro Pleb? Yeah, see, I didn't really count the playoff games from last week as playoff matches, which I know is controversial, but at the end of the day, the Australian sides haven't ever won a playoff game in New Zealand. So their chances were very slim, and then it became that the Blues and the Crusaders got to go out, hit each other around a little bit, and then still play the next week anyway. But these games now, we have seen the Crusaders would have much preferred last week to have that loss to the Chiefs, as then they could have been the lucky loser. But in this scenario now, they're gone from the competition. We are, no matter what, going to see a new champion crowned in this scenario. Canes 50 plus, says Matthew. And 34-28 for the Hurricanes, let the record show, says Xander. And 33 for the Blues, 31 for the Hurricanes from Bokshark. But, yeah, I'm hoping it's closer to those type of scorelines. Canes 50 plus. The only way that works well is if the Blues also get themselves in the 40s. But to be able to do that, be relatively challenging. Although, to be fair, it wasn't that far off it from last week in terms of their game up against the Crusaders. We have there 47-28 for the Canes. And I only want the Blues to win, so the Chiefs home final, but I'll be happy if the Canes do win. Says Jake says do better. And Australia are good at netball and swimming competition in the Olympics and Commonwealth Games. Has the Commonwealth Games started? I didn't even realise that it had fired up, but I know that that's why some of the games have been moved in terms of the URC. They had to look at different locations. The likes of Scotstoun was being used, so that's why Glasgow played in Edinburgh. Looks like 8 upcoming All Blacks in the Hurricanes tonight. Good percentage. Says Jason. We have there 5 tries first half, 4 tries second half. Not sure who gets them, but Canes win, says Pro Pleb. And the funny thing is, in knockout matches, there is all this pressure and a lot of teams choke, says Xander. Yeah, and sometimes you just get beaten by a more determined and hungry side. I think that the perfect example of that definitely has to be the game last night. We saw from that contest between the Chiefs and the Crusaders, the Chiefs were just playing the much smarter rugby, because you look at the games, the Blues were actually quite dominant, but it was the mistakes and discipline and stuff. Yeah, well, Blues discipline has been their problem for the last probably 5 years at least. They're always right up there in terms of the penalty count for the whole competition, mainly because of those little moments where the brain slightly doesn't quite fire into gear and they just make a crucial error. It's happened with many players in this Blues side, but luckily even though they're up there for penalty count this year, they've still made a lot better decisions at times, I feel. And maybe that's down to some of those younger guys making their way through. And how did the Phil the Tin go? Is it looking back? Not at all. From the angle that they showed a little bit earlier on, now it was, there's a few people there. It's always going to be a hard stadium to sell out because I think it's got a capacity of, I want to say about 45,000, 50,000 for the stands. 1 second. Capacity, what do they get? In the end, that holds 34,000. Sorry, I went a little bit too high. I went about 10,000 too much, but they've probably got 20,000 in there, somewhere around there. I want to know how they went with that Matatu game earlier on. I know that they were looking to try and sell out the Christchurch Stadium earlier on today. Canes by 10 plus with home advantage. Says Paul, Caleb Clark for the first try. And do better Blues. And it'll be 7 from 7 on this ground in a couple of hours, says Mark. And I only picked the Blues on the poll because I'm a Chiefs fan. Says Heptagonal Ghost. Yeah, it's a weird situation at the moment, isn't it? Because if you are a Chiefs supporter, there's a weird little almost alliance happening for certain people. And it is that they want to see the Blues win, even though that is quite a rivalry. But of course, then they get to reignite that rivalry in the final. If that was the case, the Hurricanes, they are expected to win this game by a decent margin. I didn't actually say what it was earlier on, but they're expected to win by about 18 points. That's roughly where they have the line at the moment. We have got there, that's really good for Wellington, says Pro Pleb. Yeah, it's a much better crowd than they had last week for the game up against the Brumbies, which is great. I really hope that if the final is in Wellington, they're able to sell it out. But they are just showing that starting lineup again. Once again, my one is slightly wrong. Dalton Papali'i is not playing in terms of the starting lineup. And I think, it is supposed to be Anton Segner in that 7 jersey. He will be a very handy option. Also, the return of Beauden Barrett in that number 15 jersey. Hurricanes by 35, says Tom. And it would be a travesty if the team lost their last 6 games, wins in Wellington tonight. And we have got there, they should be nowhere near the final, says Hartley. But the way that the competition is, they are, which just shows the amount of work that they did early on in the season. Because, like you said, they've lost a lot of games in quick succession throughout the last few weeks. Currently looking at the form guide for this Hurricane side, the only loss that they have had in recent times was up against the Crusaders. That was in Christchurch, 47 points to 14. But there is a big but alongside that, and that is the fact that it was a very experimental side. Many of those players not even getting the start or off the bench for this matchup. Hope the Canes put Blues out of their misery even more emphatically than the Chiefs did the Satyrs. And Lucky Loser says it all for the Blues. Says the real Ando. We're going to see it there. Duplessis, Karefi, Brad Shields, and Peter Larkai. He will get to lead this side out onto the field for his 50th match in this Hurricanes kit. It's good to see the Canes play past quarterfinals after 3 years not reaching it. I'm glad we beat the Brumbies to do so. Yeah, well, the Brumbies have been a little bit of a thorn in the side of this Hurricanes team, although most of those games, I think actually all of those games, have happened in Canberra. So they finally got one at home, and they sit 2 from 2 over the Brumbies for this season, this Hurricanes side. Kerry Robb said Canes by 38 plus. That's wait, Kerry Robb said that. That's against his own side, is it not? I was actually born in Auckland, but for the last 39 years. It's been mostly just airport to the north, says Heptagonal Ghost. The crowd can like a decent size Whihi Whinianofo. All he needs to do here is score one more try, and he would have the Super Rugby record for the most tries in an individual season. Morby is not far behind him. I do have to mention, if Morby got a hat-trick here, I believe he would then become the highest scorer. And we've got to remember, if the Canes win this game, they've still got another one just around the corner. It's insane. The Hurricanes do not have one single weak link, not one. Everyone in their peak form right now, says Tanner too. And that also, I guess, does get proven by some of those stats that they have had throughout the season. One very impressive is the plus 264 points differential. When this side is on form, they score a lot of points, and they have been in some tremendous form as of late. But the Blues are heading out now onto the Wellington turf. This is where, I'll be honest, this game for me, I know some people have already taken Beauden Barrett out of the All Blacks conversation. But this game, for not just myself, but I think that Dave Rennie will be looking at this match and will be looking for some sort of spark from Beauden Barrett here. Something that we've seen in the past that can just reignite this man's form. Because if he is supposed to be going to South Africa, And if he is going to be taking part in the July internationals, they'll want him to be able to really play his best rugby, which I do think up against a side like the Hurricanes, it will be tough to do, but he's done it before. I'm going to drink every time you say Tossi's name. Says the real Ando. And Rugby World Cup Final 2027 referee, says Clifford. And also Patrick Tuipulotu has aged throughout his career like a fine wine. Very reliable asset for the Blues and the AB, says Heptagonal Ghost. But we are just about underway for this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Beauden Barrett versus Geordie Barrett. We've got All Blacks versus All Blacks. We've got Bolters versus Bolters, but the Hurricanes kick this one off from right to left, and it's a nice take from Patrick Tuipulotu. Only a few weeks ago, he played half a game with an injury. Continued through it, didn't play well because of that injury, but he's had a couple of weeks to regain his composure and also get better from that neck injury. It is the penalty early on here for the Blues. Oh, okay. Callum Harkin just slapping the ankle of Cole Forbes, who was trying to stand over him in a bit of a power move early on. The thing is, right, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, there is no lack of egos out there on the field at the moment for this matchup. And because of that, we are going to see a lot of little moments like that. We're going to see pushes and shoving. We're going to see the mouths running quicker than the players are. But it's whether or not at the end of the game they can say, we talked the smack, but we backed it up. And the first line out is unsuccessful for the Blues. Hurricanes in possession. Fihifrianofo goes across to Duplessis Karefi. Beauden Barrett, he will have to take this kick from his brother Geordie. Does he decide to fire one back? Yes, he does. Chasing after it too. Barrett versus Barrett. No, it's actually Barrett versus Roygard. And Beauden has taken Roygard down in the air. Christie gives him a little push on the ground as well. Beauden going over to apologise. Oh, and quick tap taken by Cam Roygard. Faked a bit of an injury for a start, but now saw a bit of a gap and tries to run through it. Offload to Ruben Love, off to Billy Proctor. Harkin, one more pass, doesn't decide to use it. So Tutu's made that tackle with his back. He was facing the wrong way, but got run into. And that was the way that he was able to complete it. 5 metres out from the line here. Big chance for the Hurricanes. Basilio Tossi now sitting only the 5 metres out. An advantage now. Roygard back across to Duplessis Karefi. So 2-2. He's looking for the turnover and the breakdown. Couldn't quite get it. Roygard looking off to the right-hand side. Big lobby pass over the top. Harkin cuts back in round 2. And again, 1 metre out from the goal line. Roygard, no advantage being played. Going off potentially to the right to Barrett, who goes over. It is Geordie who gets it for the Canes, and that'll make them now 5-0 up in the semi-final. Looks like Clark may have had a bit of a facial injury there, which they will be checking on. But 2.5 minutes in, and the Hurricanes have struck. And what time for the game? The game did start 2.5 minutes ago. And I agree, Hamish Beauden needs to show something, but I can see him going to South Africa regardless. Go the Canes, says Jack. And we have there, yep, that seems about right already. A try, not even 2 minutes in. But yeah, Cam Roygard. A little bit of gamesmanship, I guess you could say there. Was initially looking like he was injured from the aerial contest from Beauden Barrett, and then decided to wait just long enough that the gap opened up, took the quick tap, made the 50 metres, and then the Hurricanes were able to score it. Pushing and shoving is an integral part of rugby. Bucky's bot that wanted to introduce boxing, but no one was on board for some reason, says Xander. We have you there. Do you think the finals next week will be Friday or Saturday? More than likely Saturday night, I would say. That one's going to miss away to the side for Ruben Love. And that is going to make the score 5-0 here for the Hurricanes. Is that not in the spirit of the game? Probably not. Well, yeah. It's one of those interesting scenarios, isn't it? Because some would look at that and say that it's a bit too cheeky to do it the way that Roygard did it. Others would say, well, he got taken out in the air. So, like, he only had the opportunity to do it because the Blues did a penalty against him. So, I can see both sides, but definitely a cheeky tactic from Cam. But it has led to the first try of the match for the Canes. I think the Hurricanes will put 50-plus points on the Blues. And also Beauden Barrett's infamous kick and hope for the best tactics executed to typical Beauden Barrett perfection. What's up? I think the Canes have this, says Craig there. This one's going to be kicked downfield and does go into touch. Stephen Petafeta. It's not going to be able to take that one quickly. We have you there, North Island is the best team, says Colossus. And is Signer out? No, he's actually in. There was just a typo. It was supposed to be his name at number 7 rather than Dalton Papali'i. But Papali'i is out at the moment. I think it's from his injury a couple of weeks ago. Unsportsmanlike play from Roygaard. Says NZ style. And go the Blues, says Peter. This one's going to be thrown in. Not the straightest there, but Slater gets it just straight enough. Christie goes across to Taeli. About 5 metres out from, or 5 metres inside, sorry, of the Hurricanes half. Now Christie, back across to the left-hand side. Hoskins, a 2-2 short pass to Taeli. Tackled by a Safwa Moore, who has had quite the season already for the Canes. Bit of a counter-ruck. Knock on there from Christie, although in fact penalty is awarded in favour of the Blues. First player was fine. Second player was in through the side, so the penalty is awarded in favour of this Blues team. Now they have a decision to make. Do you go for the corner or do you take the 3? I would say that probably the 3 is off the table for now, purely because of the fact that you're facing a side in the Hurricanes who have scored many points throughout the season, although finals rugby can be a bit different, but you're already, I was going to say sucking the back tip, but that's actually a cow reference rather than anything else. But you're already a little bit behind if you are the Blues here, so you've got to make sure that you then fire up quickly, try and get straight back in. We have got there, I supported the Chiefs last night against the Satyrs, and then I saw the Chiefs supporting the Blues traders, says Valheim. And also, Torian Barnes looks the goods, aggressive and abrasive. I like the look of the fella. He's also got the size, doesn't he? Torian Barnes, that one almost stolen at line-out time. Signer does well to slap it back onto his team's side, though. Now, Satutu dropped by a Safwa Moore. Christie, back across to the right-hand side. Torian Barnes. Another carry for him. Now Christie going away to Patrick Tuipulotu. Off to the left-hand side. Barnes again running it straight at Brad Shields. He is now the 3rd most capped Hurricane of all time alongside Dane Coles. Now off to the left-hand side. In fact, he may have passed Coles. Now Clark cuts back in with, gets through Warner Durns. Just 1 metre short for Clark. If the Blues can get this one out to the left-hand side, they should be able to score. In fact, they're not going to need to because Tuipulotu has gone over for a try of his own. And just like that, the Blues have responded with one back against this Hurricanes side. Is it a bit wet out there? A little bit dewy, I think, which is always going to be the case for these evening games. But Big Patrick Tuipulotu, it was just the passing on the outside, the nice draw and pass from Lamb, and then Clark almost managed to get through that tackle. Warner Durns a little bit easier than we have seen other sides doing in recent times. Precious is Lightfoot. After last night, in order for the Hurricanes to respond to that final score, they are indeed, or they're in need of 50, says Heptagonal. Now, kick here at the post for Bowden Barrett. And this is what I wished happened last night. I was Roygaard even on the spot. They do have a new law in Super Rugby, though, which does say if you're taking a quick tap, you've got to be, I think it's within 2 or 3 metres of the mark. So you don't have to be on the exact mark. If you're taking it quickly, you just have to be slightly close to it. Is Signer injured? He is not. It's just the wrong name. It is Signer as the number 7 rather than Dalton, because Dalton is injured at this point in time. We have there, hi Hamish, thinking Hurricanes 35, Blues 25. What do you think? Says Kevin. It'd be a good game if that was the case, but the Blues have taken the lead, the underdogs. Now 2 points up in this semi-final. It is kicked off short. That one's going to be knocked on by Signer off the start. Let's give the Hurricanes straight back to having the ball in hand. Geordie Barrett passes off to Shields. He's got Fehefini on Norfolk. Cuts back in off the wing. Ta'eli as well as Stephen Perafeta making the tackle. Bit of a fumble with the ball there for the Canes. 25 metres out from their line. Roygaard across to Xavier Numia. This is where the Blues defence has to hold solid. They cannot afford to have the try scored against them right in this moment. Billy Proctor, 3-man tackle on him, including his opposite number, Lamb. Now Roygaard passes back across to Brad Shields. Now 9 minutes into this contest, and we have already had 2 tries, and I don't think that is going to be the end of them. Duplessis Karefi goes across there. Billy Proctor now off to a Safwa Moore. That ball's going to be knocked on there. Now Bowden Barrett. Not sponsored. Thank you. We have got there. Is that only in Super Rugby? Yeah, it's only in the Super Rugby competition, a law that they did trial this year. And we have you there. What's your favourite movie? I don't actually know what my favourite movie would be off the top of my head. I like anything with a bit of comedy in it. But now line out here for Safwa Moore. This one's sitting about 9 minutes into the contest. Get those M&Ms off the screen, says Highlanders. Now going away to the left-hand side. Roygaard round the halfway line. Nice run from Basilio Tossi again. Moves him up to 40 metres out. Roygaard cross to Ruben Love. Peter Larkai moves it on. Duplessis Karefi out to Proctor, who doesn't quite get that pass away on the outside. They're still within the Blues half though here. Warner Durns got himself the early try. I believe it was last week up against the Brumbies. Now Duplessis Karefi getting close to the sideline. It looked like his head may have almost touched the line, but he's got good neck muscles and keeps that head from touching again. Currently the ball in hand for this Hurricanes side. Going to work hard in the breakdown to keep it on that side. Going off, bounce pass, goes past Geordie Barrett. Harkin picks it up and is then dropped by Satutu as well as Tui Pilotu. Now Barrett looking to change direction here a little bit. Geordie looking for a gap, but dragged down by Slater. Good clean out in the breakdown from Durns. It's a fast pace at the moment. Roygaard trying the short ball. Morby knocks it on. Will now be the scrum feed here for the Blues. Now not wet enough. It looks like there will be a point a minute or more, says NZ Riot. And we have it there. Who's your favourite Barrett brother? Oh, that's a tricky one. I did love watching Geordie at Leinster, to be fair. Like, he was, at one point, I think, a lot of Leinster supporters' favourite player. Rico hasn't quite had that same reception, I will say. But maybe if he wins a final, that is something that Geordie Barrett was also able to do. It looks like another high-scoring game. Shows New Zealand have a great attack players for the East coming up, but the same raises questions about the defence. We have the Crusaders have 8 more Super Rugby titles than the Hurricanes, Blues, Chiefs combined, says Wayne, and this year they won't be able to win another one. So it's a perfect opportunity for one of these sides. The Canes, they haven't won it since 2016. For the Blues, it's been a little while, but not as long. They were able to win it, I believe, a couple seasons ago. They also did win Super Rugby Trans-Tasman. The time that we did see that, I think it was Highlanders in the final that they were able to beat as the Crusaders were knocked out of that competition. But Finley Christie going away to the left-hand side now. Sam Knox sadly injured last week. He was in some really good form too before picking up that injury. Bit of a counter-ruck there from Tossi. Stays on the side of the Blues. We have it there. My friend reckons Rugby League is better. Can you tell me why you think rugby is better? No. I think that at this time, like in the world, if he likes rugby league better, let him watch rugby league. If you like rugby union better, watch rugby union. If you like both, watch both. I think there's far too much of people trying to tell people what they can and can't watch, even though it's 2026. And, you know, it's all well and good loving your sport, but you don't have to tell everyone else that their sport sucks. So, yeah, like just enjoy the rugby that you're watching. If you love your union, watch your union. But, yeah, it's all. Okay, AJ Lamb has to make his way off the field here due to his mouthguard flashing. I think they all flash anyway, but he must have taken a knock at some point. So he has had to make his way from the field. That'll bring probably Peter Aki on, I would think, and Taeli would potentially move to 13, or they might just straight up go Aki as the 13 option. This one's going to be about 5 metres out. But Finley Christie, he went for that box kick initially. Canes were able to get themselves the penalty for it. And we have it there. Come on, Fair. He breaks the record, says John. Yeah, Morby's close too. You can move a bit to the right so we can see the Blues subs. 1 second. There we go. I'll squeeze up for a bit so that you can see it. Eli Alderaan, definitely one. Keep an eye on there from how he has started his Blues career. Now the big rolling maul here for the Hurricanes. They're over. There's a player underneath the masses of them, and I think it's Duplessis Karefi. Yes, it is co-captain. Strikes for the Hurricanes. I played League and Union. Both love both. Union and Supremo. Says Wafer. But the try there was a great kick towards the corner. First of all from Ruben Love. Only got them 5 metres out from the line. And then Karefi just situated at the back. Alderaan is the next Dane Coles. Says Peanut Slab. Got the tongue out from the get-go as well. Soon as he knew he was scoring it. But the Hurricanes take their lead back. They did have earlier on. Well said about rugby and league gamers, says Stuart. 1 kick so far attempted by Ruben Love. He did miss it off the get-go. So, of course, he'll be hoping for a bit more success with this one from the other side of the field. He's kept it low and he has got it over too. That is going to now make the score 12 points to 7 in favour of the Hurricanes. It's rugby and league. League is something completely different. Says Xander. But the rolling maul was marching quickly. Would have loved to see the Crusaders versus Hurricanes in the final. Says unknown. Yeah, although now there's the opportunity for someone else to be able to get that title. Like I said, the Crusaders are the defending champs. They're out of it now. So it does give every other side massive opportunity to put that name on the trophy. But now, Ruben Love, ready to go for this kick downfield. Off his left boot, had a bit of an angle that he could work with. It's weird seeing Bodie playing for the Blues. Says Desmond. Also forwards in front of the maul. Says Kiwi Rob. And also we've got the okay, cheers, mate. Says Mark there too. Currently 15 minutes through this contest. Cam Roygaard sitting second for kicks, I believe. Even though he missed some games due to injury. And I hate rugby league and union, just like rugby balls. I hope it says sock. Now, trying to get this one rolling forward. Thoughts on Labour's new public transport policy? I have no idea about it, but also I feel like sport's not one that you mix with politics just because or else then you got 50-50, don't you? But now, Duplessis Karefi looking for the steal on the breakdown, almost was able to get it. And does in fact get his hands on the ball. The penalty awarded there to the Hurricanes. Karefi not only scoring, but also doing the work inside of his own half. We have you there, someone passed the tossy. I'm getting thirsty, says Real Ando. And welcome on, Auckland. Says Pele in there too. But Ruben Love will again be able to kick this one towards the sideline off the penalty. We'll put them just inside of the Blues half. It's beautifully done by Duplessis Karefi. Lovers in our All Blacks 10. I think you've said that every week for about the last 10, Kiwi Rob, it would seem. But Dave Rennie may say otherwise. And I think I'd trust his opinion a little bit more. But out, getting ready to go for the line out here. Asafua Moore throws it in nicely, taking Warner Durns. Across to Roygaard, moving it across to Barrett now. Seems like Fiki Whittinganofo. He knew that the wide pass was coming, so he just had to get himself back on side. We have got there, good morning all, says, I know, welcome in, hope you are doing well. We have got their Chiefs extra day of recovery, a big factor, and yeah, they do need it. Because at the end of the day, they had Tupai with a bit of an injury. They had Fiketti with a bit of an injury. They had Hutchinson with an injury. So, yeah, they'll be very happy to have that extra day of recovery. Now, this one's going to be kicked downfield. Nice take from Stephen Perafetta. I'm going across Bowden Barrett. I do seriously trust Love against our African Hamish, says Kiwi Rob. No matter what I said in that scenario, if I said my opinion, you'd tell me I was wrong anyway. So there's not much point. We have you there. I'm looking forward to the Wallabies playing France. And Kane's going to destroy them. Watch the first 12 minutes, says Aino. Rugby balls are pretty nice. Footballs are also good, says Puck. Possession at the moment, 57% in favour of the home team, 70% of the territory. And Caleb Clark here, the match doctor's asking for an HIA. The Blues have had 2 HIA calls here. So Peyton Spencer now makes his way onto the field. This is a weird situation at the moment. Either the mouth guards are a little bit looser than they normally are, or there are some pretty big knocks that are coming in that neither side are actually aware of. And HIA Clark says, "Another boy." And of course, we've got to remember, if the Blues were to win this game, if they fail their HIA, Lamb and Clark, they would both be out for the final. Listen here reminds me of when my dad had the radio on way back more than 50 years ago. So here's Jason Parson, another knock on there, this time from Love. Sam Derry, he's got the possession, ready to have this scrum. They're playing the Tim Payne song at the Cape Tin, says Desmond. And also, who do you reckon will win the Football World Cup? No idea, to be honest. I think that France have been rumoured that they're going to do quite well. I think that, who else was another side? No, they're the only one I can remember who apparently would go all right. Match Doctor conspiring with the Canes. And also we get the cow back teats are apparently nice too, says Paul. Whakatoanga Fasi is the most capped Blue of all time. 165 caps and also counting, I should say. Giving me Lamu at 164. Again, should have more points by now, says Pro Pleb. And get Love off for an HIA, says Peanut Slab. You know, they haven't been going too bad as of yet. Like, most of these guys will have a handling error by the end of this contest. Already seen Morby drop the ball, and he's been scoring for fun. in the early stages. Vern Cotter looking stern as always. Just having a little bit of a drink stoppage here while the players do get a bit of running repairs. Couple injury concerns out there. Listen again from Tenerife. Thanks again for the commentary. Love to see the Blues upset win. We have you there. Mong is boring. I guess that's his strength. Says Real Ando, and I to all other financially challenged who can't afford Sky, says NZ Style. It's also sometimes geographically blocked, depending on where people are in the world. I will mention if you are outside of New Zealand and the main areas that have got broadcasters, they might even have these games on YouTube, on the Super Rugby YouTube channel. But the scrum feed here for the Blues, 922 kg pack weight compared to 923 of the Hurricanes. If the Warriors win the NRL, won't be good for the AB's future, as more youngsters will play league. Says Jamie, do you think they'd then go back if the All Blacks won the World Cup, though? Maybe you get a bit of a weird seesaw in terms of numbers for a couple of years, wouldn't you? But then Rugby League, will New Zealand win the Rugby League World Cup? Is that some sort of option, maybe? But Sam Derry with the ball in hand, currently 18 and a half on the clock. Peter Feta going across there to the left-hand side. Peter Aki with the short ball. Still no return of AJ Lamb and still no return of Caleb Clark from their HIAs. That was a full pass from Finley Christie out to Bowden Barrett. The ball is still going to be on the side of the Blues. Anton Segner, accompanied by Barnes into the contact. Lakai almost able to get onto the ball. Backline movement now again. Peter Feta goes off to Bowden Barrett. Rush defence from Proctor, trying to shut him down early. Now Christie across to the left-hand side. Marcel Renata. Ball is still there. Christie moves it away to the left. Former Springbok captain W. de Villiers once said. And listen from Tonga. Says Andy. So thank you very much for tuning in. Sam Derry carries it towards Tossi and Lakai. Now Segner plays half. Cross to Marcel Renata. Up to 12 phases in a row here for the Blues. This is exactly what they need to do. Try and wear down this Hurricane side. They're kicking behind from Stephen Peter Feta, so that's the opposite of what I just said. And the kick's gone dead, so they'll go right back to where he struck it from. So the very next phase, from saying that they're getting some good phase play and they're actually starting to, tire out the opposition, they kick the ball dead and give all sort of momentum that they just created back to the opposition. And always with these kicking mistakes, says Vic Mars. We have got there. Can you please yell up the wires? Says, but they are playing up against the Sharks at the moment, right? They're about to. I think they play a little bit later on. Why kick it? No idea. You're finally starting to get some position in a good part of the field. And they, I guess, theoretically, best case scenario there, the ball goes out 5 meters from the opposition line. And maybe you get the line out after they clear the ball and you gain 5 meters. You get a restart. But outside of that, it just seemed like it was worth just keeping that ball in hand and continuing moving it. Cam Roigard now, though, with the scrum feed here for the Hurricanes. And Sold Out Stadium couldn't make it. This will do fine, says Dim. Well, front row's collapsing. So will be a scrum reset. Still the Hurricanes ball here. They've got the lead of 5 points. 2 tries so far for this Canes team. Seeing Duplessis Karefi cross the try line as well as Geordie Barrett. The Blues, they have just scored themselves the one, and it was Patrick Tuipulotu who was able to get it. Mostly both, says the real Ando. Now, what's your prediction between the Bulls and Leinster? I'd like to think the Bulls will get closer than they did last year. Because unfortunately last year just didn't go well at all in that final. It is going to be at Croke Park again, so same location as that last year's final, but they had to dig deep up against Glasgow, and it seemed like the second half they were really... It's the ball in again there for the scrum. Looks like it's halfway stuck under the locks, now available with no advantage in play. Geordie Barrett passes back across to Ruben Love. Harkin moves it on now to Morby. Right, some fancy footwork, but he's held up nicely by Aki and Taheli. It's turned into a maul, and it doesn't come out for the Canes. So the Blues now have the scrum 45 out from their own line on the far side of the field. Leinster will win by 20, says Bock. And also, who you got for State of Origin? I kind of hope that Queensland take it so that we're 1-1 going into the last match. Just because that always makes for that third game to have that much more, I guess, tension and excitement heading towards it. Come on, the Bulls beat Leinster, and then they'll blame the neighbour. See you, Johnny. Turnovers conceded at the moment, 5 for the Hurricanes, 3 for the Blues. We've seen quite a few running meters already for these two sides. I'm dying a first here. Come on, Tossie. Well, it is a scrum, so he could get penalised here because the side hasn't got the scrum feed. Or might be able to get one against the feed. True, but I want New South Wales, says Craig there. Yeah, see, most of the time in recent years, whoever wins the first game loses the series. So for the sake of like New South Wales, they kind of do need to win that second game or else they could fall into that same pattern that we've seen the last couple years. As Isaac Hutchinson out for the final, most likely. I haven't seen any sort of update about him yet, but he didn't look too flash on that leg, unfortunately. Now, free kick goes the way of the Blues. Hoskins at 2-2, decides to take the quick tap. Peter Aki moves it across to Stephen Bitterfetter, now wide, cut out pass to Cole Forbes round the halfway line. He had Fihifiti Arnofo in front of him, partially charged down by Harkin. Christie cleans it up, offloads back to Bitterfetter, now Barrett. Cross to Taeli. He will just jog it forward. Another young player with a lot of talent coming up through the rankings for the Blues. Christie moves it quickly to Torian Barnes. Tackle made by a Safwa Moore. Now Christie across to Marcel Renner to Bowden Barra. That's a knock on there and a mistake that could be crucial for this Blues side. Fihifini Arnofo goes across to Harkin. Tries to kick it in behind it. Smacked into the back of Cole Forbes and bundled into touch for Pitafeta. I think all the advantages had ended. So in that case, it is now going to be the line out for the Hurricanes. But the Blues went from having a decent attacking chance to Tutu just let it slip through his fingers. And again, that attacking mindedness of this Hurricanes team, always looking for a way to be able to counter-attack when they take that ball away. Do you think AJ Lamb can make the All Blacks? Well, he's an interesting one because he's going overseas, but it sounds like Rennie still might be interested in him. So if he makes it in the ABs, I don't see him being there too long for now. That one's not going to be too straight from the Hurricanes, and it sits up for Renner to now. Does break through 2 tackles, thought about another offload. Tossie in the breakdown loses his footing. Now Satutu moves it back across to Pitafeta, lined up early by Geordie Barrett. Torian Barnes, pick and go, can't quite get through. The Canes defence right next to the breakdown. Now Christie up to Tuongafasi. Onto the ball, Karefi's landed very hard on the dome of his head. Now Torian Barnes, cross to Pitafeta. Aki still out there. It's quite a concern that Lamb and Clark, neither of them are back yet. They kick him behind from Peyton Spencer. Open space here for Cole Forbes. Needs to bounce of the ball. Sits back up. Passes back to Spencer, who scores the try. And the Blues now are back to level. But it's just back and forth at the moment between these two sides. That was a nice bit of play from the youngster off the bench. And Cameron Love for the All Blacks. And Tossie says the real Ando there. And Ruben Love for the number 10 in the All Blacks. Says Adrian, I need Hurricanes to win first half by 13 points. Says precise. But it was the kicking behind from Cole Forbes. And then from there, just popping the ball up to Peyton Spencer, who was able to finish that one off. And then managed to score that try. Also a little bit closer to the post as well, just to make it a little bit easier. We have you there. It's a close one, says Craig. And we have you there. Let's go, says Hakeem. And there as well. You can say hello if you like.
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
It's a close game, isn't it? 12-12.
It's going well.
Going well. Oh, sorry, 12-14 now.
You're like 10 years behind.
Yeah, I know. You're watching on the satellite, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's much, much quicker than Sky Sport now. I did hear you yelling a try earlier. And Blues can cause the upset in the second semi. And early days, but this could go to Golden Point. Oh, Golden Point would be good, wouldn't it? If that was the case. Now Finley Christie away to the left-hand side. Passing across to Sam Derry. Hello, Hamish and everyone. What a dominant performance from the Chiefs yesterday. Didn't expect that. This game looks like it's going to be closer. And I take it back. Maybe the Blues can do this, says Ano. Now Christie kicks that one into touch again. Decent amount of distance on it as well. 28 and a half minutes through. Now we have it there. Is that already, says Mark? And put the hillbilly away, says Anthony. And our line out here, Safwa Moore. Throws that one in, nicely taken Delaney. Cross Roygaard now, Love moves it on to Billy Proctor. Big two-man tackle on him. Although again, we are still seeing Archie and Peyton Spencer staying out there for a little bit longer for the Blues. There'll start to be a few concerns later on in this game if both Clark and Lamb aren't able to come back from their HIA. Sniping run from Cam Roygaard. Gets through two. Looks for the offload to Proctor, who just knocked it on in the process of trying to gather the ball. We'll go back now for the scrum here. About 15 metres out from the Blues line. And the Super Rugby Pacific final will be the Chiefs versus Hurricanes. On next week's game, says Joseph, and Blues too good, says Tommy Edwards. Well, they've currently led twice in this game, which I can tell you right now, and I know that it sounds a little bit harsh, but I don't think many people saw 3 early lead changes in this contest between these two sides. I know that a lot of people were expecting the Hurricanes to score early and then keep scoring. Keep that pressure going like we saw from the Chiefs up against the Crusaders. But yeah, Blues lose Caleb Clark and AJ Lamb to failed HIAs, which does mean that they will not be able to return for the rest of this game, and more than likely will be out for next week as well. A few too many mistakes, says Hayno. We have their Warriors game, no gimme, says Wayne in there as well. We have their Warriors, the Warriors game, and also let's go the Canes, says Skull. The Cake Tin curse is real, says Jack. I'm all good, thank you. Plenty in the stands at the moment at Sky Stadium. Hopefully, if they were able to get themselves the victory, they would be able to pack it out just next week. We have got... No, I'm all good. Was that Kiwi Rob at your house? No, it's not Kiwi Rob. And we have got their Caleb Clark past his HIA, no, says Dunk. And if the Blues win, we'll go against the Chiefs from 2024 finals from Auckland. But 29 minutes through at the moment. Now looking for a big scrum there, the Canes, but the ball stays on the side of this Blues side. But now rolling this one back again, Christie. Going to be sitting about 10 metres out from the line. And now the Canes KO 2 backs. No idea. I didn't actually see either of the collisions that caused them to get injured. But one of them was mouthguard. And I think actually, no, both of them may have been mouthguard. Bit of a counter run here from Morby. Sitting 30 metres out from the line. Okay, there, it's not live, says Boy Down Under. Yeah, we're watching on Sky Sport now, so there's about a 30-second delay. Now running this one forward again. A Suff one more. I'll stare to Roygaard once more. Brad Shields. And those makes the defence hard. Says Josefa. Now moving across. Roygaard. Going to be heavily involved in, I think, most of the tries that we see from this Hurricane side involving the backs. Now Karefi. Roygaard. Back across to the right-hand side. Suff one more, looking for the steal, was Segner, couldn't quite get a Proctor with the pick and go once again. Missed tackle from Barnes, just sneaks in that little bit further. Are you doing Springboks vs Barbarians? We certainly will be, yes. As well as hopefully South Africa A versus Zimbabwe, if they are showing it here in New Zealand. Advantage now and play for the Hurricanes over the line. Goes, I think it was Xavier Numia, yes it was. The big loose head prop goes in and scores another try to change the lead of the semi-final yet again. But 7 of the career for Xavier Numia. And 1 for the season. Surprising as well with the way that man does run. Is that your son? Not unless my son is older than myself. We have got the AJ Jacobs will be the referee. And come on the Canes. Says Jerron. And also assaulted with a chalky bar. Says Gary. It was a Whitakers as well. Those are solid. But lining up this kick here. Love right in front of the post, does convert. Now makes the score 19 points to 14 back in favour of the Hurricanes. Numia, try, bro. I'll be an All Black this year, yes, sir. And as we there go, the Canes says silly. And we have got their young father. So for me to be his father, I would have had to have him 6 months before I was born. Which I don't think is a thing. And Blues hold on. The defence. I don't let the Hurricane score, says Joseph. George has more than just your magic water to drink, says Jason. Also, Tossi could have scored that down, says the real Ando. Yeah, one of the 2 props getting over for the Canes. Now Bowden Barrett, 8 minutes remaining in this first half. Still anyone's game for the taking. Jordy Barrett claiming that ball inside of his own 22. Now Roygaard. Rolling it back again. He's looking for the ball. It seems like it's pretty slow coming out here for the Hurricanes. It might become unplayable. Still looking to get it back. Having plenty of generosity from Ben O'Keefe in terms of the amount of time that he was allocated to be able to play that ball. Seesaw game quick maths should be able to work out who was at the top of the 80 minutes. Yeah, that maths is above my pay grade, though, in terms of who would be leading. I guess, well, because the Hurricanes scored first, didn't they? So at halftime, we'll have a bit more of an idea. Currently 3 tries to the 2 is the tally. We need you at volume level 100 when there's a try, says J. Moss. Oh, I think my microphone actually mitigates my sound a little bit when I'm too loud. So if I stay slightly quieter, it may actually come through louder, which is like a little bit weird. Check me for an HIA, says Gary. Now Bradley Slater. Ready to throw it in, nicely taken by the Blues. Bit of an awkward bouncing ball, but Rennert has done well to be able to gather as Tossie makes the low tackle on him. Now Christie back across to the right. The Blues need another one before this halftime siren. Don't be a menace to society. Watch that movie. It's a comedy. Now, still there for Peyton Spencer. And again, the Blues do not have many back replacements now. Just Tulfa Funaki. I said there would be 5 tries in the first half, 4 tries in the second, says Pro Pleb. We have got there, what is the, it's homology, that's a fancy word, of love muscle. Why are the announcers calling Ruben that? No idea. Because he's not the biggest player either, but I guess there must be some sort of nickname behind it to switch to this match. No line speed by the Blues. Just waiting to be opened up, says DD. And it's something that the Canes love doing as well, running that ball when they get a line break. They've carved through opposition before, although the Blues, to their slight credit here, is like conceding 3 tries against the Canes and a half, probably not too bad. And Roygaard kicks that one straight out on the full. And it's the big collision there initially. They're just showing the replay of Xavier Numia, the way he was able to finish that one off. Go Blues, says Blinky. Who scored the try so far for the Hurricanes? We have seen the try from Xavier Numia, Geordie Barrett, and Duplessis Karifi. And then, tell you what, that's impressive. Most tries in a season, Super Rugby all time. The Hurricanes already have the record, and they've still potentially got a final around the corner. And maybe you adopted the guy at a young age, says Pro Pleb. Well, so as a 2-year-old, I adopted a 3-year-old. Well, I guess weirder things have happened. But at Hoskins Tutu. I'll tackle there from Dossie. Looking for the steal was Karifi. Just couldn't quite reach out far enough. Going left-hand side again. Sam Derry moves it on. Stephen Perafete was smashed by Amua. Keeping the ball alive once again. And Hurricanes will win for the first time in the semi-finals and will play the final. The first time in Hamilton against the Chiefs, the 2026 Super Rugby Pacific. Although if the Hurricanes win this game, they play the final in Wellington. And Hurricanes are my mongrel New Zealand team. They're bound to win. Blues have been boring to watch. So here's slow. Now Tuanga Fassi. And again, Karifi. He's told to get out of that one due to Brad Shields still being in the breakdown. Bowden Barrett pops it up to Peter Aki. And the box kick, 75% chance of gifting possession to the opponents and 50% chance of them scoring, especially the Canes. Well done, Christie. Now 4 minutes left of this first half, though. We'll probably still see a couple more box kicks, I would think. Oh, no, Segner. The ball just slipped out of the fingertips. It becomes a knock-on. And that is going to make it now the scrum feed here for the Hurricanes. Mistake that the Blues couldn't really afford. He's definitely adopted something. Says Jason. And as George, he rubs Hamish's throat 5 minutes before every call. Says Sock. And also we have got the Sigsy says Peter. Says Peanut. And too many knock-ons ruining this. It's been a bit stop-start, I'll be honest, compared to what we saw for the first half yesterday. Although the reason that the game yesterday was stop-start for the first 40 was because of all the tries being scored. But both of these sides, they have had a few handling errors along the way, but a much closer game. You know, at this stage last night, I think that the Chiefs were up by about 28 points and the game was all but over. Whereas in this one, it is anyone's for the taking. We're still a whole second half. It is still going to be taking place. Cam Roygaard, though, he's going to get to feed this ball in. Attacking set piece is not too far from what we have seen from the Hurricanes often throughout their season. Says strides and the penalty awarded to the Hurricanes. Front row collapsing. This time it was Anton Segner. Not Segner. That was Ofatunga Fasi. the initial knock-on from Segner that led to the scrum. Feels like if the Blues aren't leading at halftime, they won't win. Says Highlanders fan. Yeah, although if they're only down by 5 at halftime and they score first in the second half, it'd be well and truly on for all money. 40 metres out from the line here. We've only seen 5 penalties conceded throughout this game, 4 of which have been against the Blues. Now another line-out chance, thank you, says the real Ando. 2.5 minutes of the first half. Keeping a close eye on when that 40-minute siren sounds, because I don't know whether either of these sides will want to kick this ball out unless they are deep inside of their own half. Barrett goes across to Larkai. Haven't seen a huge amount of his ball running as of yet. Odin Ryan will open up the Canes in the second half. Says Peanut, that is only if they can get that ball to him. You have one more replacement back, and that is going to be Taufa Funaki. How's Bowden been at fullback? He's done a couple kicks that people wouldn't agree with, but other than that, I think he's made a couple crucial tackles. But there have also been times where the Canes have carved up the middle, which I don't know whether or not you can blame on Bowden Barrett. Now cross kick attempted from Ruben Love for Hefini Arnolfo. Thought that it was coming right out to him, but it was only a little chip there. Have they got in a scrum and sniffed each other's bums yet, says Skippy. I don't know what type of rugby you've been playing, Skippy, but no, not that style. They are going to have another opportunity for the line out, though. Oh, and Patrick Tuipulotu getting called over here. What's this going to be from Ben O'Keefe? This would be their 5th penalty. Okay, so pretty much Ben O'Keefe there. That wasn't the final warning, by the way, but that was more so he said that he's seen Bradley Slater throw the ball away twice, same with another one of his players. So if anyone from the Blues throws the ball away again, they're going to get marched back 10 metres. Yogi from LA here, Lower Auckland, says massive there, welcome in. And so the Hurricanes will host the Chiefs in the final? Correct, yes, if they win this game. If the Blues win this contest, the final will be in Hamilton. And bloody free view. I haven't covered the finals. I won't be watching that stupid channel anymore, idiots. Says Slow. So they haven't got either of the games free view. I swear last year they did at least one. Which they should really. Like, definitely for the Super Rugby side of things. I can understand if they weren't showing like a game involving 2 non-New Zealand sides or something like that. But this is a New Zealand derby. The second of the weekend. Bowden Barrett. Big driving tackle there on Morby. Still 45 seconds left in the half. Well, still on the side of the Canes. Basilio Tossi passes across the Love. Finds the hands of Delaney. 2-man tackle on him by Tuipulotu and Derry Lotta. Lock action there. Now Peter Larkai off to the left-hand side. Tries to bundle over the top of Forbes. Does manage to hang on to him. What time is the final? Final will be 7:05 Saturday night, I would say. Love your commentary. You're pretty good. See you, Skippy. Thank you very much. I'm going to be back, like I mentioned, next week for the final, as well as the URC final, as well as some internationals that are coming up in the near future. How many tries for the Blues? Yeah, just the 2 so far in this game. But if they score once more before the halftime break, oh, Christie's got a sore head. That's not good, because if he is HI8 as well, then, picked up by Ofatunga Fussy. Bit of a counter-attacking chance here for the Blues. Torian Barnes, great power to be able to stay on his feet through the tackle of Shields. But a mistake made there by the Hurricanes, who almost seemed like they were in cruise control for the end of this half, has now turned it into an attacking opportunity for the side down by 5. Now Christie, back across to the left-hand side. Slater moves it on to Bowden Barrett. Pirafetta, short ball to Taili. Offload to Satutu. Rush defence from Barrett. Gets him down low. Offload from Tuipulotu again. Christie's back up to his feet. So the HIA, I don't think has played a factor. And that is going to be the knock-on from Renata to close out the half. Quick pace to close this one out. But it is now half-time. And it is 19 points to 14. A lot closer than people were anticipating. If you had any wild bets on, like you shave your head last night's bet, says Anthony, not for this game, but we did actually have last year, I had to get a buzz cut because of saying that New Zealand, I said if South Africa bet New Zealand in either of the games in New Zealand, we would get a buzz cut. And as some of you know, there was one game in Wellington that many people like to forget, but not only did they lose that, but they lost it by a country mile. So yeah, I was buzz cutted for about two months or so. It took a while for it to grow back to a decent-ish length. Up the Blues says amazing. Chrissy is useless, says Mungo. They have got Tolfa Funaki off of the bench. Sam not injured. Only last week, I think it was, that he did pick up his injury. I want the Blues to win, so it's an easier game for the Chiefs next week, said Johnny Blaze. And did the Chiefs ever beat the Hurricanes? Yes. These New Zealand sides do often beat each other quite regularly. I will say the Hurricanes haven't been in a semi-final victorious for quite some time. Their last final victory was 2016 for the main final. And of course, heading into this matchup against the Chiefs, if they were to win here, they would be considered as the favourite because the Blues lost to BNZ Crusaders last week, says Joseph. And also, who's going to kick off now? So kickoff this time would be the Hurricanes from left to right. If I remember how this game started correctly, because I think it was kicked off by the Blues and then Geordie Barrett claimed it inside of the 22, didn't he? For Roygard to then kick it into touch. Blues can cause an upset here. But needs to score first after halftime, says Ben. Give the boys some Canes juice at halftime and bring it home, says Jerome. And we have got a gifted membership from Clifford. Thank you very much, Clifford. Greatly appreciated there. And easy like the 2024 final, says Peanut Slab. Yeah, second 40 minutes. It's probably around 10 minutes away from starting up. Is this the only game today? That is correct, yes. So a little bit of a cruisier weekend. Why Sky Open on TV doesn't live the game anymore, especially rugby final or finals rugby. Up the Canes, says Tony. Yeah, to me, I mentioned about it yesterday, and I said that for the amount of money that they will make from people who want to see these playoff games signing up for Sky is probably not that significantly much more than if they had it available in like a free-to-air situation. And then, through advertisers, you probably maybe even more. Because many people who haven't signed up for Sky throughout the rest of the season aren't signing up just because it's the playoffs. It's quite a chunk of money to give straight away to then be able to watch only a few games of sport. So, yeah. Even I'd love to see a next day replay or a 2 days after replay on YouTube or something like that. Why did Justin Marshall leave the stadium really quick last night? Bro didn't hang around for the post-match interview, says Johnny Blaze. He probably knew he was going to get a fair amount of sticks, so he just decided, you know what, better to just go back to the hotel. You should get some chocky during halftime, says Pro Plea. Well, I've still got that M&M sitting on the desk. Now, you can tell what colour M&M it is because it is see-through at the moment. But it is a green one. A very generous gift from the others in the household. 2 HIAs and Christy working against the Blues. Great comeback by the Satyrs, says Jeff. And also, what games next week? Next week, we've got the Super Rugby final. We've got the URC final. We've got the Barbarians versus Box. And then also, hopefully, South Africa versus Zimbabwe. Midweek, we may even do a New Zealand FIFA World Cup game just to have a look at it. And then also, alongside that, State of Origin, I think, is coming up in the near future. That's on Wednesday next week, which we are hoping to do on the channel as well. And Blues will have to score in the second half and make discipline nicely. And also, Sky is only interested in attracting new subscribers, treat existing customers. Yeah, they don't do a lot of deals for the existing ones. I know that the Black Friday sale was pretty much the only time that you see it slightly cheaper for people who have got a Sky subscription. But outside of that, yeah, you don't really see a lot of it. A green one, I guess that is blue and yellow mixed together. Yeah, I guess it's kind of impartial, isn't it? Am I right in thinking there's no relegation in this comp? Correct, yeah. So, there isn't, but they might lose a team next year, being Moana Pacifica. And we have got there, Marshy's Harveli Glaze is sickening, to be honest, says Jeff. And also we have got there, can you cover the Eddie Hall versus Tommy Fury fight tomorrow? Probably not, I don't think. What time is it on Pro Pleb New Zealand time? Out of curiosity, we might be on the golf course during the time that it's taken place, depending on the start time. It's Super Rugby final, 9:05 a.m. South African time. Correct, yes. We have there URC final. Are the Blues playing away from home? Are the Bulls playing away from home? Yes, so they are going to be playing at Croke Park. That contest. Hamish, are you feeling better this week? Absolutely, yep. Got over the cold, which is great news. The voice hasn't completely left me yet, so that is also a big bonus. They are just showing the highlights of the tries in the first half. Karefi scoring in the 14th minute. Even earlier than that, though, we saw Geordie Barrett scoring the first of the contest. Xavier Numia also crossing the try line for the Canes. And then for the Blues, Peyton Spencer as well as Patrick Tuipulotu, the two men who have gone in for the underdog side. Cullen Legend says strides there. We have got as well, whereas the All Whites playing on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Yeah, it's an afternoon one. Tommy Fury versus Eddie Hall at 8 a.m. Do you know what the funny thing is about that time? That's actually the time that originally people wanted to tee off for golf. So we would technically, if we do go with the original tee off time, we would be on the golf course when that one's taking place. Unless that's like the start of the event. Then maybe we'd be back, but I'm not sure. Back in the day, the boy used to bring the beers. Says Anthony. And also, can the Hurricanes do what the Chiefs did, except in the second half? As in, like, park the bus? Or you're saying, can they, like, run away with this game? Because, of course, the Chiefs in that second half of their game up against Crusaders, they only scored the 7 points. So if the Hurricanes were to do that here, I'll be quite honest, I don't think 26 points will be enough in this match. I think that they'll need a little bit more than that. Are you covering the New Zealand-Iran FIFA World Cup? Maybe. Potentially, depending on work. You have to get there because I can't stand how bad Tom Latham is as a player. And bring beer and barbecue for the game, says Stefan. The Blues conversions. Beauden Barrett sitting at 100% at the moment. The Hurricanes, they are sitting with 2 from 3 from Ruben Love. Possession is 50-50. Territory 56% in favour of the Blues. Visits to the opposition 22, 5-2 in favour of the home side. And they have beaten an additional 9 defenders ahead of their Blues opposition. And go New York. 29 points not enough to hold them back. Says V there. And the Wires losing 2-0. Oh yeah, they would have recently started, wouldn't they? Handling errors though, 5-3. It's probably most of a half in recent times that we've seen from the Hurricanes. Mafana lost to Mexico, that is correct. It seems like the Canes are making a few too many uncharacteristic errors, which is keeping the Blues in the game. And Blues lucky Ruben Love not playing, says Been Out Slab, and which bench looks stronger. So, out of the two benches, I do have to clarify though. So far, we have already seen Peter Aki and Peyton Spencer make their way on. That was due to the failed HIAs of Caleb Clark as well as AJ Lamb. So, because of that side, like, I would say it's a tricky one. I think that if you even that out a little bit due to them already being out there, having a fresh Kenny Naholo off the bench is going to be brutal. Braden Yossi, brutal. Tyrell Lomax, brutal. So, but then Orenrain's been in some really good form. Shay Clark is solid. Berry's, I think it's probably a little advantage to the Canes if I had to pick one. And I think that just comes down to the fact that the Blues have already had to make 2 changes. Who's the number 10? Says Lena, and also High says National Rugby League. And also Portugal will make it to, or win to make it Cristiano Ronaldo, the god of soccer. And high says National Rugby League 1, 2, 3, and high again. And who's the number 10? So at the moment, the 10s are Ruben Love and Stephen Perofeta in this contest. Do you think Crusaders getting new signing next year? They'll probably have a few. They've got a few guys going overseas. So you've got to fill in those gaps. And we have got there us Chiefs fans licking lips. This title is in the bag. Hurricanes look awful. Says just better than you. And also 6-0 for the Sharks, says Lawrence. And Iran says Wayne, can you sub? Me sub to you, or you can you sub to me? What one round is it? Is Havili leaving? No, I don't think so. I think that Enor's going, McLeod's going. They're losing a couple of their forwards as well. But yeah, it'll be an intriguing second half. I think that this one, 19-14, is about where I want to say where an ideal situation heading into the second 40 would be, because it's still anyone's game in this scenario. Which NRL team do you go for? I probably, if I had to pick, I'd go the Warriors because I'm from New Zealand. But I feel like I've got a bit of a soft spot for the Roosters because I quite like James Tedesco. So if I had to pick an Australian team, I'd probably go the Roosters, even though I couldn't tell you any other player who's on that side at the moment. off the top of my head. We over there agree. Chiefs will be eating this up. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The Chiefs, in a way, with the exception of their injuries that they suffered in the game up against the Crusaders, they had a breezy second 40. They were able to relax, go a little bit less heavy in terms of the contacts and everything along those lines. So they'll be watching these two sides beat each other up a little bit here. They'll be looking at the Blues going without a Caleb Clark and without an AJ Lamb. The back line doesn't look as strong. So, yeah, I think they'll also be enjoying seeing the Canes not fully find their stride as of yet. And whoever has the least knock-on second half will win. CSV, probably a decent chance, yeah, because 5 in the first half from the Hurricanes for their handling error count was just, I think, much higher than they would have wanted it to be. Canes bench is going to monster the Blues in the second half. Says Matthew. And also up the mighty Newcastle Knights says just better than you. And up the Blues win the Wars. And when is Richie Mo'unga back? So he is going to be back for the NPC season, but he's not eligible to play for the All Blacks until November. So he isn't actually supposed to be going on the South African tour. He was well aware of that from the get-go, and it was also one of those things that were talked about right when he signed back with the Crusaders, but it only recently became a story a few weeks ago because they were just pretty much reiterating what we already knew in that scenario. But I think he's allowed to maybe get in if there's enough injuries, but there'd have to be a lot. And lucky losers will cause an upset today. I feel it tingling in my bones, says Christopher. Are we getting him back this year or next year? So back for the All Blacks more than likely in November. In terms of like coming back to NPC and whatnot, he'll be back this year. Super Rugby next year because Crusaders, their year's over for the Super Rugby. The lucky losers will cause an upset today. I feel it tingling in my bones, says Christopher. A couple of young fellas made debut for the Wars tonight. How good. And Canes are trying to be too pretty at the moment. Need to go back to basics, says Jeff. And also Blues win, so we get the home final, says just better. And also 1973 Blues win by 7, says Tomo. Yeah, it's going to be a close one, or at least it looks that way at the moment. I will say that, of course, a lot of things can change. Whoever comes out firing in the second half could certainly be the side that run away with this one. Definitely if it is the Hurricanes. We saw them score early in the first half with Geordie Barrett, but the Wars are losing, says Callum there. I do still think there is definitely a way that the Blues can go on to win this contest, but they have to keep disrupting this Hurricanes team because they make any sort of mistake that leads to the counter-attack. Hurricanes score those, I'd say, at least 50% of the side. Who's the fittest side? Well, the thing is, the Hurricanes are used to scoring a lot of points, and I would say that the Blues are used to, in a way, defending that little bit more. So you could argue that, it just comes down to whether or not you feel like defense or attack wears you out more. And you'd say that defense certainly does hit into the gas tank. So the Blues have got some guys that can go the full 80 minutes. That's where they have to rely on the likes of a Darry or a Anton Segner. And the backs, normally that would be someone like a Clark or a Lamb, but sadly they do not have those guys available anymore due to the failed HIAs. Chiefs been runner-up for a couple years on the trot. They will want to change that, I'm sure, says Anthony. And also, I think we don't go with Richie, but they will probably choose him. Rennie said he will go off form, so he's on form then likely. And also Brett Cameron to the Crusaders next year. And go the Blues, says Blinky. Yeah, see, Brett Cameron's an unlucky fellow, isn't he? Because he played one really good game near the start of the season and then was injured. And then from there, of course, has to sit on the sideline and watch his side. Well, to his defence, I'd rather watch my side from the sideline doing very well than watch them struggle. They have got plenty of other guys who have found themselves in that 10 jersey, whether that is Ruben Love. We've seen Callum Hark and even Godfrey was there for a little bit before, unfortunately, he also did suffer the injury. And we're just about to get underway for the second half of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Both sides back out there on the field. And the Wars on their way, says Rome. Did you see Matatu bet the Chiefs? I didn't. Did they sell it out, though? I know that was their goal. It was a decent day in Christchurch today until the sun went down. But, yeah, did they get their numbers that they were after? I will also mention Funaki is on now, ladies and gentlemen. It was mentioned right at the end of the first half how Christie looked like he had taken a bit of a knock to his head. So it seems like they maybe have decided to make that change nice and early. Isaiah Walker, Leo Whitty, he is on the field. Who's that for? Oh, it's for Delaney. Okay, I was going to say, if that's for Warner Dearns and Dearns is injured, that is a big hit to this Hurricane side. Losing Delaney's also a big hit too. Your live stream, 0 for awesome, mate. As David Tour would say, no disrespect to the Tour man. We have there, Jacob can make the ABs. Now kicked off for the second half. Oh no, in fact, it's the Blues kicking off. I swear Jordie Barrett took the ball in the first half. I think they've got that wrong, haven't they? I think they've had the Blues kick off twice. Surely not. Surely at this level, they aren't doing a mistake like that. I'm going to see at the next stoppage like that. That's a big driving tackle there. Advantage. Oh no, in fact, they've said that it's gone backwards. Derry going on the outside of Peter Aki, right next to the sideline. Offloads back in. Was stolen by Ofa Tongafasi rather than Spencer. Now going back across to the right-hand side. Ball off to Segner. It took Cronulla like 50 years to get one. Now this one's going to be kicked off. Well, sorry, not kicked off, but a little chip in behind. Claimed by Roigard. Now across Warner Dearns. Goes to Peter Lakai. To Isaiah Walker. Leo Wiri offload there to Callum Harkin. Pihipini Anofo. Calling for it on the outside. Just couldn't quite link up. Now Karefi. Back across to the right. Ruben Love moves it on to Tossi. Now Numia. He's already scored one. But he'd love a double. Maybe 2 more tries than he scored all season. Now Jordie Barrett back across to Brad Shields up to a Safua Moore. Dearns is a Japan rep, not just a rep, he's their captain as well at the moment. Now Ruben Love goes across there to Isaiah Walker, Leo Wiri, straightening run from Proctor, gets through Segner. It's good phase play at the moment from the Hurricanes and they are making meters with each and every carry. Jordie Barrett had Shields right next to him, Morby, moves it on to a Safua Moore, cuts back in. Would be nice to see a new general at 10 for the All Blacks. Says, how's it? Now pops it up, Numia. Now Love across to Harkin. He is skipping around, causing trouble for the Blues forwards. Now back across to the left again. Karefi moves it on. Ruben Love goes for the grubber in behind, but just back there covering was Forbes. Didn't quite get the distance on it that they were after there, the Canes, but the counter ruck, and it's stolen by Lakai. Ruben, I almost said Ruben Love, but it is in fact Cam Roigard who does the snipe round the left-hand side. And they have scored early in the second half here, the Hurricanes. Just phase after phase. The steal and the breakdown from Peter Lakai. It was a bit of a soft kick from Ruben Love initially. Didn't get the distance on it that he would have been after. But straight away, the very next breakdown, they managed to steal it. And then Roigard sold the dummy as if he was going on the outside. And got it done instead. And we have got there. I'm a Chiefs fan. Go the Blues. They'll be easier to beat at home than the Canes. And Yippee says Jerome in there too. And the celebrations were happening big time there. After Roigard was able to score it. Now Ruben Love. They had 9 tries. Hello, I'm back again. For some reason, it did go like a blank screen for a second. But yeah, in the end, the kick did miss. 24 points to 14. I just kept on talking about the game as if it was still here. A game over for the Blues if they do not want to. Says Ben. Yeah, they now need to be the next team to score. Okay, we have their Chiefs are on fire at the moment. I think it's burning too hot for the Canes or the Blues, says Cyrus. Blues kicking this one off from the right. I also will mention I did go back and check, and it was, in fact, kicked off by the Canes. So I had a different moment in my head of Barrett hitting that ball up. I think it was only a couple minutes in that happened. But Roigard again looking for the up and under. Barrett round near the halfway line. Bounces back to Morby. He will grubber it in behind. Foot race with Bowden Barrett. Bowden Barrett gets it with an awkward bouncing ball. Taken down just inside his in-goal area. And it will be a 5-metre scrum now for the Canes. This is now a dangerous position on the park. And again, the momentum just continues to build here. And we have got there, yes. Love kicked the game off straight down the middle. Says Wayfin. Also, we have got there. Here comes the Blues Canes. Oh, sorry, the Blues Clues, says Peanut. We over there. It's better to peak too early. We'll be better next week, says V. But yeah, Bowden Barrett, not a lot of options there to do anything with that ball other than grab it and try and get out of that in-goal area, but the pressure was all on him. I've just got there the halftime report for the Blues. Stay in the fight. Set-piece accuracy. Be ruthless. Well, to stay in the fight here, they can't afford to concede. Vern Cotter's just slammed his hat off his head and then decided, you know what, I'll get a cold head if I do that. I'll put the hat back on. A bit of frustration from the coach at the moment with how the second half has started. And another scrum reset now. Only the 5 metres out from the Blues line. If this is a try, this could almost be game over. Of course, we've seen big comebacks before, but in playoff rugby, you can control the game as the side that leads. We were there, Chiefs and the Canes, 2 best teams. So it'll be the best final, says Ben. Yeah, it would be 1 versus 2. Love's goal kicking, proving why he's not All Blacks material, especially over T-Mac. Although you look to, what was it, last week or the week prior, where he nailed every single kick, Ruben Love. I think he was he 9 from 9 last week or something like that? So I feel like you can have an off day every once in a while, but 9 from 9 is pretty flashy. Mackenzie doing just as good in that game up against the Crusaders yesterday as well. I think he was 7 from 7 or something like that. Now Cam Royart going down in the front rows there. What about last week? Love was awesome. Yeah, 9 from 9 is no easy feat. That's close to the line now. Just out from it for the Hurricanes. Roygar pops it across. Karefi. Short ball. Morby goes over. And he will score the try again for the Hurricanes. They have come out with a hiss and a roar in the second half. And they have scored 2 tries in 6.5 minutes to now give them firm control. He's up to 14 for the season. Josh Morby, 3 more for him. And he'll have the record. We over there, same school year as me. He played with my bro in the under-20s, says Cyrus. I was flexing ZSV, and I love being a Cane supporter in Christchurch. Such a good feeling, says Marai. Oh, sorry, it is actually Marari. And also here there, Kiwi Rob will be happy. And also, they kick them all when it doesn't matter, but folds when it matters, says Marcel. And also, yes, says John. That one's going over and now making the score 31 points to 14. Currently a 17-point difference. Wait. Yeah, 31-14. The scoreboard's given an extra point to the Hurricanes. They've given them a bonus for scoring so quickly in the second half. I guess the Hurricanes are the first team to score 100 tries in a Super Rugby season. And they still have a final potentially around the corner and the rest of this contest too. Now, Peter Larkai inside of the 22. Why is Bowden Barrett going for a drop kick from halfway, says Peanut Slab. Rolling it back, Roy Guard. Again, we'll look for the angle as the URC final next Friday or Saturday. Saturday morning here in New Zealand, Friday night for you guys up north and in South Africa. Bowden Barrett around the halfway line goes to Peyton Spencer. He has got Peter Aki on the outside. Spencer almost going through though. Had a swarm of Canes around him. As soon as he did hit the ground, Tofa Funaki. Into the short side already, all the back replacements have been made for the Blues. 2 of the 3, maybe even 3 out of the 3 were from HIA situations as well. Should be 31-14. That is what I mentioned earlier on, the online scoreboard. It decided bonus points are now a thing apparently, but yeah, 31-14 the actual score. Now Bowden Barrett going away to the left-hand side. Does try and snipe his way through a Suffler more. The hard man to be able to get through. It looks like Chiefs versus Hurricanes down to the Cake Tin next week. Mark called there from Callum Harkin inside of his 22. It's pretty close to my prediction of 35-25. Says Kevin. That one's going to be bouncing awkwardly. Doesn't find touch with it. Of course, it was the mark though, so no real benefit of kicking it out rather than getting as much distance as you physically can. Perafeta returns fire. With a kick of his own now, Ruben Love looking to run this one for fends off Hoskins. Tutu tries to step around Gary. Barnes stands strong. Now Roygar getting fancy with a bit of the passing and dummying, I should say, OMG. Says Pele there. And now a nice pass on the outside. Morby breaking away again. Massive chance for them to get another one here. The Canes 22 metres out from the line. Morby delays his pass all over him like a rash. Was Peyton Spencer, and he manages to take it back for the Blues. Now the counter-attacking chance for them, or will they kick it? Taeli decides to go away to the right. Fends off Derns, but can't get away from Larkai. Ball knocked on as well for Heferi Anofo. Flick pass out the back to Harkin, now on the halfway line for the Hurricanes. Chip and chase from Geordie Barrett. Picked up by Slater, and that is also now advantage over. Darry goes back to Bowden Barrett. I thought he would have gone for the chip. He would have tried to do what his brother just did, but stays on their side. Now, Sam Darry. Ball's there, almost missing the clean out in the breakdown, and Brad Shields making them pay for it. Ball back on the side of the Canes again, relentless in the early stages of the second half. A Safua Moore, tackled low by Tolfa Funaki. We have there, Canes category 5 over the Bombay. Says Rodiano moving away to the left-hand side. Short ball from Proctor out to Karefi. Another solid two-man tackle from the Blues. It's about what they have to do at the moment, definitely with some of those solider ball runners. Can't afford to allow that offload to come in. Oh, big shot on Barrett there from Tui Pilotu. Looked around the chest. Couldn't get on VPM from Vietnam. Appreciate the coverage. Missed the accent. Go the Blues, says Andrew. Yeah, I think that the one on YouTube, on the Super Rugby YouTube channel, it does seem to be that if you got a VPN, they know that you do, which is kind of annoying. Now that one's going to be knocked on again. Ball back to Pirafeta. Cross there to Taeli. Now Bowden Barrett. He goes for the grubber. He got checked there by Isaiah Walker-Leawiri, and they'll go back for the initial advantage. Well, the crowd's not happy because they are actually going back for the initial knock-on advantage across the field. Barrett, you could potentially argue that he was taken out by Isaiah Walker-Leawiri. With 10 Aussie teams, with 10 teams next year, hopefully there will be an Aussie team in the semis, says Anthony. Okay, Ben O'Keefe has just said that he is going to be consistent on both sides, as a few of the Canes feel like they were a little bit hard done by there. But again, if they didn't go back for that, they were probably going to find the penalty from Walker-Leawiri anyway. Never mind scoring twice in a row, 3 times in a row, that's rough. Says Haino. We see there, Tossi will make his way off. Interesting, Ruben Love taken off the field for Kini Naholo. So I would say what will happen here, more than likely, will be Josh Morby goes to fullback, Harkin goes to 10, and we will see Naholo out to the wing. Yates also makes his way on for Marcel Renata. Shea Clark on for Segner. Bit of an early switch of Anton Segner here. And East South African teams are back, says just better. It's having love for the final. I would think so. Plus, in terms of his attack, it hasn't been his best day at the office. He still had some solid enough moments out there, but yeah, you definitely want to make sure that he is 100% heading into next week. It's him versus McKenzie. Be a very good one. Thanks for the work, Dossie. Says the real Ando. Now moving away to the left-hand side for the Blues. Peter Aki, short ball lined up early. Barrett with the big driving tackle again. Geordie's made a lot of tackles throughout this contest, and now the turnover and the breakdown again for the Hurricanes. Peter Larkai been on it every single time that ball becomes available. Cross kick from Geordie Barrett. Goes straight out to Naholo. Pops it on the inside to a Safua Moore. Acceleration off the mark. Bulldozing over absolutely everyone. Give that man his All Blacks jersey again, because he has just steamrolled through about 3 Blues. 53 minutes in. Another try in a row for this Hurricanes team. And this one is now getting ugly. Plenty of time to get another try, Blues. Says Pele there. Goes through a couple in a row and just runs straight over the top of Stephen Perafeta, which, to be fair, what do you do when you got a Safua Moore running full steam ahead? But a great cross kick from Geordie Barrett as well. The offload from Naholo. And then the finish there from a Safua Moore. Ambro Canes will not beat the Chiefs, says Callum. We over there couldn't understand why Sky Sports score was 31-14, and here it was 32 for a while. It was just due to an online scoreboard trying to give the Hurricanes too many points. They were getting too ahead of themselves this season for Geordie Barrett. He's sitting 67%, but he is going to be lining up the strike and just getting it over. Making the score now 38-14 in favour of the Hurricanes. We have you there. Let's go the Canes. Says Avanaka there. And also, they're like the best team if they keep the same team as yesterday, says Callum. You see there the celebrations from the stands as well for this Hurricanes side. And try the floodgates are opening up now, says Matthew. Oh, Billy Proctor has a little bit of a stumble here. Currently 24 points separating these two sides. We have got the South African teams didn't win a Super Rugby title for 12 years. Then cried go Northern Hemisphere, although they've had some really good success in the URC. The Bulls in the final up against Leinster, also the inaugural champions, the Stormers, in that competition. Now going across to the right-hand side, Callum Harkin moves it across again to Morby. As a supporter for Hefini Anorfo, who's still looking to break that record. He's had to wait patiently for his chance. Now Roy Gard, away to the left again to Warner Dern, short ball there to Karefi. The Hurricanes, they will still be thinking that they can bring up the half century in this contest. Would have been a miracle tonight from the last few games. Yeah, well, the first half was an incredible showing from the Blues in terms of keeping it competitive. But the Canes in the second half have had 15 minutes of absolute relentlessness. That's going to be a knock-on, though, from the Hurricanes. But then the Blues were done with it. Hoskins Satutu decided after the knock-on to clothesline the bloke. And then it turns into the penalty. The Blues discipline, something that we mentioned right near the start of this game, something that has cost them time and time again, whether that's in a playoff or otherwise. And that's another perfect example of it. And we have got there another blowout. Come on, man. Says Hakeem there. Yeah, initially it was, like I said, it was unnecessary from Hoskins Satutu. And this woman's here says V and tactics and discipline will be key in the final and send him off. Says Matthew. Looks like another change is about to take place. That looks like Bradley Slater making his way off for the Blues. And they will need now Eli Odenrain to make his way on. The Super Rugby semi-finals one-sided, unlike the URC, where that was more competitive, says Avril. As South African, I wanted to stay in Super Rugby, but it did not work out. I think it's better to play Super Rugby than URC Champions Cup in Europe, says Ben. I bet you have lost the chance to have a share of that Whittaker's block. It's probably still about, I would say. I'd like to think there'd be at least half of it remaining. Now Cam Roygard on the way to the right-hand side. I've still got my solo mini M&M, though, that I was gifted. So that's very nice. The Blues lost their mongrel, says Andy. Now still another attacking chance. Billy Proctor sitting 20 metres out from the line here. Cam Roygard away to the left-hand side. Duplessis Karefi moving it on now to Lawaki. Now across to Karefi. It's just metre after metre being made post-contact at the moment, but the Blues getting on to the ball, and Cole Forbes does win a crucial turnover for the Blues. And we have it there. Extra time final, says Ethan. Hopefully closer final is what we will get to see. But for this one, I don't think extra time's on the cards. But it would be if they were drawing at the end of the game. We have it there. Bloody Rico's fault, says Shane. And the Blues ABs need to step up, says Adam. But the penalty won by Forbes. At least we have a UFC champion. South Africa has nothing, says just better. Yeah, they did have a UFC champion for a bit of time. To their credit. Drake was doing well, wasn't he? Now, a nice shuffle there from Torian Barnes at the back. A big run forward from Hoskins Satutu, and trying to roll out of there as Karefi's just done enough. Funaki goes away to the left-hand side. A little bit of a delay there to get the ball to Eli Udenrain. Tackle round halfway. Kanina Holo tries to get his hands on the ball. Just loses the footing, so the penalty will be awarded to the Blues. Tafa Funaki decides to go for the quick tap. Holding on to him was Zaya Walker. Leo Wiri Proctor hands down. Another penalty against the Hurricanes. We have got there. Where is the final going to be held next weekend? So if the Hurricanes win this game, they will then end up playing in Wellington. They've had a much better crowd here compared to last week up against the Brumbies. I'd like to think that there'd be quite a few Chiefs supporters who do make the trip down to Wellington to support their side. We have you there if you guys want to be like that. You can also say the watered down Super Rugby comp is doing the All Blacks no good. Says cool story. We have got there, we are the Hurricanes, the black and yellow Hurricanes, says V. The last 3 penalties have been conceded by this Hurricane side. They'll have to be a little bit careful not to end up on a bit of a cane train of penalties, or else we'd end up with someone with a yellow card. Nice line out steal there from Peter Larkai, and Harkin receives it back in the pocket and does, I think, avoid the touchline some way. Finian Norfo chasing after it. Bowden Barrett passes back across to Peyton Spencer. Nice step from him. Pitafetta moves up to halfway. How many minutes left at the moment? Still another 21 minutes on the clock. Counter ruck from the Hurricanes again. That's about the 5th time that they've done that in this contest. It looks like Pitafetta may have taken a nasty knock too, and they haven't got any more replacements for their backs here, the Blues. And there's the knock on from the Hurricanes, so they'll go back for the scrum feed in favour of the Blues now. Warriors game be intense second half, guys. New Zealand have a wealth of talent in the sport across the border. And Ums up Moldham. I sent him Dagestan 3-4 years. Says just better. Hnry Stadium on the way next year. Blues, don't worry. Says ARW. And Bromley with 1 foot on the plane, says Rodeo. I mean, for the games, hopefully it will be close next week. Yeah, hopefully the game, in terms of the final, anything less than 10 points would be great in terms of the split. We've seen here the momentum tracker. For a start, 2nd minute of the game was when we saw Geordie Barrett score. It seemed like the Canes were going to be off to an absolute flyer. We saw the try then answered back by the Blues in the 8th minute for Patrick Tuipulotu. Then coming back with one of their own, the Canes, then the Blues, then the Hurricanes. So a bit of back and forth in that first half. But ever since the second half has started, 3 tries on the trot for this Hurricane side. Asafua Moa, his day is done. He did score one of the more recent tries of the contest. And now Raymond Tupu has made his way on. Adi Savia on the way next year. Blues, don't worry, says ARW. And also we have got there, that'll be a great final, says Harry Barry. And another free kick awarded to the Blues. Now at scrum time, Oscar Satutu take the quick tap, goes across to Barnes. Got a good acceleration off the mark, that man. Needs to be able to find the gap as well. Ball on the outside, just managing to keep it in the field of play. Bowden Barrett looking for the offload. He gives it to his brother. Although in this scenario, that's not a good thing, as they're on 2 separate sides. The Hurricanes now back with the ball again. Injury on the far side for Billy Proctor's shoulder. Cross kick from the Hurricanes. Pihipiria Norfo unable to get to it first as it bounces into touch. We have got their Blues. Where'd that go? The Blues are as boring as Game of Thrones Season 8. Billy Proctor's got a stinger on his left arm here, ladies and gentlemen. We've already seen the injury, potentially, of Quinn Tupaia, of Lalakai Foketi. When talking about midfielders heading into the final, you could even argue about the other guys who did get injured in semi-finals too, likes of Alesta Whainanuku in terms of the centre option for the ABs. They don't want to lose Proctor as well. Yep, nicely taken by Torian Barnes off the throw of Eli Odenran. And what a game last night for the Chiefs, because I was at the game last night, says Jacob. Are you going to be making the trip to Wellington, Jacob? If it is going to be hosted in Wellington for the final, almost charged down from Warner Durns off the kick of Tolfa Funaki. Goes into touch. Hurricanes now with the line out about 40 metres out. Is there enough time for a miracle? If there's going to be, it has to happen soon, because 18 minutes on the clock, not a long time. They would theoretically need 4 tries here, the Blues. Why is Wellington windy? Because Hamilton sucks, says ARW. Now that's one thrown in, line out, steal there. I think that was the first throw of Raymond Tupu, so not going to be a great confidence booster for their man now, Xavier Tieli. Goes across there to the left-hand side, moves it on to Forbes. All on the halfway line here. Aki has to play half back, and it's a drop ball from Flynn Yates, I should say. Lakai gets another steal in the breakdown. We're going to be on the side of the Canes now. Roygar going for the box kick in behind, having a backtrack here. Awkward bouncing ball, and it goes out just 1 metre from the Blues try line. A bit of a fortunate bounce. They take it quickly, but it's actually going to be the Blues line out. I mentioned good luck to our All Whites too. Against the world's best. Slim chance, but miracles do happen, says Tomo. Do you think Bafana will win the World Cup? No. No, I don't think so, unfortunately. I think that's actually come off Cole Forbes' hand, so It should almost be a Hurricanes line out here, 5 metres out from their opposition. Why is it down 2? How are they playing like Bulldogs? Says just. And 5 in a row for the Blues says just better. And 24 points in 18 minutes. How do you approach it from here? 6 drop goals and a golden point. I think you just have to go absolutely like ultra attacking minded. Now, the thing is, for this Blues side, right, you can either play the way that they currently are, maybe concede 1 or 2 more tries. You can go aggressive and try and get some tries back with the chance of conceding that many tries anyway, but at least you're keeping yourself with a chance. Oh no, Josh Morby almost managing to pierce through again here for the Hurricanes. This might be one of the couple that I just mentioned for this Cane side. Peter Larkai pops it up to Raymond Tuputupu. Iritara Hnry, he's on the field, so they have made another change. No Roy Guard for the last 17 minutes of this game. New Zealand not going to win the World Cup, trust. New Zealand going to win the World Cup. Bafana got an egocentric and stupid coach. Says, hey, no, now passed across the water. Derns, can he go over? He slides close unselfishly. Gave it to Morby, who dropped the ball backwards as he was just short of the line. I tell you right now, Derns will be recruiting goal for their pass. I think the big man could have reached out himself. Probably would have had he known that Morby wasn't going to be able to finish it off. Eli Oden looking for the turnover. Iritara Hnry pops it up to Isaiah Wakaleowiri. Tackled by another lock. Just 1 metre short now. Iritara Hnry pops it up now. Tyrell Lomax just short again. Pops it up one more time. Iritara Hnry on the line. Scores the try. And the Canes move into the 40s. But 43-14 now. The way that this one sits. Are we over there? See you soon, Chiefs boy. Says, it was from Shane. It always going to beat Iran. Says Hobbit. Over there, Canes forward pack have been so dominant going to be a good final year. Well, the way that they've just been able to hold on to that ball, and also the way that they've stolen the ball in the breakdown too, has been thoroughly impressive. It's a good finish from Iritara Hnry, but again, they were just out from the opposition line. They've moved up to 43 now. Adding another additional 2 there for Geordie Barrett. Making the score 45 points to 14. Both semi-finals with blowouts. What's going on in Kiwiland Rugby? No idea, to tell you the truth. I mean, this one was the one that was expected to be a blowout, but the Crusaders-Chiefs game definitely wasn't looking like that scoreline heading into the matchup. Who's winning URC 6 a.m. tomorrow? Bulls versus Leinster. Not happening this weekend. Next weekend is when the two sides are going to be taking place. Right, Proctor's been taken off the field. That is for Johnny Rova. It did seem like Proctor had a bit of a shoulder injury. So, I have to make sure that he is going to be all right for that final. Meanwhile, in Australian rugby, says better. And 20-0 choke job, biggest comeback in Origin history, says ARW. I guess I'll be going for the Canes next week, says Vic Mars, with the ball now on the side of Josh Berry and the Blues. They are inside of the opposition 22. Penalty. I know Warner Derns would have got it, but it is going back for the initial knock-on. So impressive they gave that team the New Zealand team award, not the World Cup winning Kiwi League team. And also, well, at least Hurricanes and Chiefs are the two best teams in the final, correct? That would be 1 versus 2, yes. So the highest rank from the regular season going toe-to-toe in the final in Wellington. Do you see that James Slipper has come out of retirement for the French Test? No, but it doesn't surprise me because, I mean, that man's still playing phenomenal rugby in terms of for the Brumbies. So, like, he's shown time and time again that he can still go. Good for the Chiefs or the Hurricanes to win next week. I need to catch up. Blues have 2 Super Rugby titles in the 2020s. Is the final at Wellington? Correct, yes. Because of the Hurricanes coming in as the number 1 qualifier, they will get to host the final next week. Ball's put in by Funaki, 22 metres out from the line. The Blues with the scrum, popping it across to Stephen Pettifett, a short side run from Forbes. And again, the one-on-one tackles, spot tackles have been made time and time again from this Hurricanes team. The biggest thing that they need to avoid here, though, is injuries, as well as any sort of suspension. A great turnover in the breakdown from Isaiah Wakaleowiri. Harkin's got about 4 men in support. Goes to Braden Yossi and went on the inside. He should have gone to Naholo on the left rather than the right, and it is going to be knocked on by the Hurricanes. There will be another scrumpy, but that's how quickly they can turn a play that's only a few metres out from their own goal line into a halfway attack. You see it there. Zaya Walker, Leo Witty straight in the breakdown, ripping it onto the side of the Hurricanes. And Lakai, who initially started the break with his pass, just didn't quite get this next one right in terms of the catch, but that needed to go to Hnry Stadium, I believe, who could have then gone on the inside. Up the Canes, there's Josefo. We have it there. I drink for you Blues 2026, but you blew it again and again. And also, they better not do this many knock-ons next week, says V. Yeah, currently 12 minutes left. Who's winning, Ilya versus Justin Gaethje? I don't actually know, because he's unpredictable. Even though he's been around for so long, you still never quite know what he's going to do. Taporia's got really good boxing, though, so he might be able to just continuously just touch Gaethje's chin and then maybe get him out of there about round 4, but don't know. Hard to say. Gaethje's got a chin when he needs to, but then his fight with Holloway, those final moments, imagine that happening up against Taporia. That would be quite something. But 12 minutes left. Cam Roigard and Ruben Love just having a bit of a conversation there. Proctor seems like his arm is a bit better now, which is great news. Love your commentary for us travelling Kiwis from Isle of Skye. Says Hnry. And also has Warner Dearns on the 1-year deal. I believe so, but I can tell you right now they would want him to come back next year for the Hurricanes, the way that he's playing. He's also, a couple years' time, he could actually transition over to the All Blacks, although I do have a feeling like we're going to see Japan try their absolute best to keep him over there. Peter Aki with a short ball to Taeli. Tackled by Barrett. And now looking for the turnover. This time the penalty awarded. The hands went down first from Karefi. Feels like he was hard done by there, Karefi. We have you there, Porirua Wellington. Good evening, over to Xavier. Welcome in. And also, are you going to sleep after this? No, I've got 3 fellows in the living room. You saw one of them hit me with a block of chocolate. But, yeah, I think they're staying for a bit longer. And then we're going golfing tomorrow morning. Call for the Chiefs or the Hurricanes fans to celebrate a championship. You guys have been waiting years and years. Blues have 2 in 2020s. So far, just chilling. Says ARW. Now Eli Odenran. Ready to throw this ball in. Nicely taken by Derry. Talfa Funaki going back across to the left-hand side. Stephen Peter Feta moves it on to Aki. Bounce pass to Cole Forbes. Griffey again looking for that steal if he can get it. Now the ball on the side of Isaiah Walker. Leo Witty passes across to Braden Yossi. Gets through. Couple tackle attempts initially. Eli Odenran, he certainly doesn't shy away from a bit of contact in the breakdown. Another drop ball from the Canes. It's got a little bit loose now for this side. It seems like they're just trying to find that miracle try rather than setting it up like they normally would. Drop ball from Forbes. Bounces back to Harkin. And up the Queenslander says Tis. Also we have there Porirua Wellington. As where the Whitaker's factory is, says V. Now Johnny Rover. Oh, a bit of a counter ruck there from Eli Odenran. Again, just trying to get into all of the action that he can. Advantage is now over. While I remember, Xander, I do still need your email address so that the guys from Next Play can send you your prize. Now, Hnry Stadium, ball on the outside to Braden Yossi. Cuts back and Barrett made the tackle, but Eritara Hnry is there. Back to Hnry Stadium. Fends off Berry, and it's a half century for the Hurricanes here. They're putting all the heart of the Dogs, says Cyrus. And great Super Rugby try, and also always great commentary, mate, listening to you from Wiltshire in the UK. Says Bacon, but Hnry Stadium gets try number 6. He was out for a majority of the season with injury, ladies and gentlemen. And he's just come back and continued from where he left off. Eritara Hnry, just good decision-making from the Canes again. Unfortunately for Berry, he was caught between a rock and a hard place there at the back. I'm going to try and defend about 3 who will host next week. It will be the Hurricanes who host the Chiefs in Wellington. And more than likely that game will be 7:05 on Saturday night. And thanks for the live chat, says Masad. No worries at all. Thank you very much for tuning in. Does Super Rugby Pacific or Super Rugby Final qualify for our number 1 commentator to wear collar and tie? I think I will have the shirt and tie because there are a few games that are finals taking place. So, yeah, I think that will end up coming out, but that is going to be over from Geordie Barrett, who's sitting, I think, about 3 from 3 now. 52-14. where are our close semi-finals that we thought that we'd be having? Like, again, this one was considered to be about an 18-point split between the two sides, but currently between them, there's 38 points separating them. And game done and dusted. See you all for the final. Cheers, Hamish in the chat. Says Anthony. And the 50 plus says Tills. I'll mention anyone who is new to the channel. Of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated you all being here. We're close to 81,000 as well. If you do want to help us get there, it is greatly appreciated. Time check at the moment, 72.5 minutes down. Getting a holo over Waisaki. Says Mirari there. A great lesson from Croatia. We've got a lot of countries covered at the moment, which is absolutely awesome. 7 minutes now left on the clock. Can the Blues fire one more try back in the Canes' direction? Geordie Barra, he's relentless in this game. Now Bowden goes with the pass away to the left-hand side. Peyton Spencer shuffles a little bit. Can't quite get through. And fun as usual, Hamish, see ya. The Met Service predicted this giant whitewash for earlier this week. At least we have separated the sheep from the goats. Let's look forward to next week, says Carl. And back to UFC 6. See you, Hamish, for the final, bro. So yeah, we will see you guys next week, of course, as well as maybe midweek week for State of Origin for you guys who do follow a bit of rugby league and maybe even a bit of football for the Kiwis up against Iran. Currently 6 minutes now left on the clock. Hnry, no rush to get this ball out of the breakdown. Geordie Barrett with the spiral boot. Oh, just sits straight into the hand of Stephen Petafeta. Pretty much perfect positioning from him. And we have got there. Oh, yes, I forgot about the prize. I want to donate my prize, please. You, Hamish. You receive a prize for keeping up with our comments, says Xander. Are you sure? You should really take advantage of winning, and you know you'll be able to find something on that URC shop that you can go for. Now Tolfa Funaki again with another fend, and he's bundled into touch. Thanks for the commentary, Hamish. Watching my son play under 11 rugby and listening to the game. Oh yeah, because it's Saturday morning up north, isn't it? And in South Africa, you guys are a nice early start for these Super Rugby games. So hopefully he's going all right. I want to apologise to my brilliant Canes. I thought you'd only win by 30, says Jack. But now, down to the 5 minutes. Raymond Tupu. The line out again, watching from outer Hebrides in Scotland, says Dirk. I think we've got like 100 countries covered here. On the stream, overthrown line out. I don't think Raymond Tupu was ready for it. Eli Oden man, he's got some pace, and he scores the try as well. This guy is a very bright prospect for New Zealand rugby. How quick was he off the mark? He's just absolutely flown. The Hurricanes, I think Hnry was running full pace there, and he's just been absolutely smoked by Eli Oden there. He just taken off at 1,000 miles an hour. How quick is that, man? We have everything, isn't it awesome? The Chiefs getting some bit of a revenge on the Crusaders in the final with the Hurricanes. And also we have the Dane Cole says Peter. And Oden with the speed and the pace. Says Vic Mars, thank you very much, Hamish. May you go from strength to strength. You be protected. You are a wonderful person, says Mohadeen. Well, that's a much nicer message than you saying you were going to sue me last week, Mohadeen, of course. That one has gone over from the Blues, making the score now 21 points to 52. Still 31 separating these two sides. And over 50 points in the semi is not good for the comp, says Xander. Gosh, more like cricket and not rugby, says Pele. Yeah, there'd be quite a few Black Caps who would have loved to score 52 runs up against the Kings. Probably quite a few Black Caps who would have loved to get 21 runs as well, to be fair. On the wicket that they were playing at Lords, though, it was a pretty impossible feat. Another great commentary lad says, Tony, thank you very much. Well done, Hamish, you to be doing television commentary. Thank you, says Peter. It's greatly appreciated. Of course, and we have still got more coming. We've got the final next week as well as the URC final. We're almost back into the international scene. We're going to have All Blacks games, as well as all the other internationals that we can. Peyton Spencer trying to fend off Peter Larkai. Couple of men in the breakdown for the Canes, but couldn't quite get that still. Peter Feta back across to Berry. When does the second test between England and Black Caps? I think it starts in about 4 days' time. So that would be about Tuesday or Wednesday, New Zealand time, I think. And that man is rapid. Yeah, like I know that he's fresh. Another penalty going the way of the Hurricanes, by the way, 30 metres out from the Blues line. But even fresh being that quick is just crazy. You know, that was just a turn of pace off the mark that I don't think any of the Hurricanes were expecting. We have got there, if you make it 4 in a row and lose all 4, that's definitely choking. So yeah, it's been on slab. Is it choking or is it just poor form heading into this match for the Blues? Now, they haven't had the best crack up against New Zealand sides as of yet. Or as of late, I should say. They're doing all the Springboks games, so I'm hoping to. I don't think any of them overlap with other matches that I know of. The Hurricanes will win the final. Should be an interesting AB squad. Yeah, being announced in, I believe, 10 days' time. About the 23rd of June. So when we're going to find out exactly who is in that All Blacks environment. We are going to have, I think I'm going to be releasing my All Blacks team next week. I'm not sure whether to do it early week or later on because I want to still see a few more stats about this weekend. But yeah, it's going to be some big decisions that need to be made. And thanks, Average. Great commentary. Your own style. Keep it up, says Mace there. Thank you very much. Now, Perafeta off to Peteraki. Loose ball. Picked up by Johnny Rova with the round-the-back flick pass. Isaiah Walker-Leowiri moves it on to Morby. They get another one, the Hurricanes here. We have got there the Blues, says Hana. And also Tyrell Lomax is a Warrior. Will he be an All Blacks in 2026? I think there's still a spot in Rennie's squad for him. I think for Spunt, the Kiwi Lad live chat, you deserve a cold one, mate. Says Tomo there. When you're doing Springboks predictions, probably next week as well, I guess. But a nice flick pass round the back door from Johnny Rova. And then just keeping the distribution going for the Hurricanes and the way they move that ball towards their winger. And yeah, just really well finished off by Morby as well. Was allowed one motion towards the line. Like as a challenge, will Holland be back? I don't think so yet. I think he's probably going to be back. He will definitely be back by November. I don't know about the Springboks tour, though, whether he will be there. So my 30-point winning prediction is looking good right now. Second title coming up. Can't wait for next week. Thanks so much for the commentary, Hamish. Top effort. I followed from Nepal. You always deliver, says Jack. Now, Geordie Barrett. This one, he does miss away to the side. Loses his 100% for the day. But 57-21. Set him pretty nicely. Morby moves up to 15 tries, though. That now means that in the final, if he gets a double, he will have the record for most tries in an individual season, rather than Fehifinian Nofo. Now this one kicked off. Nice. Oh, no. Big collision there in the air between Karefi and also, I believe it was Flynn Yates. About 5 seconds remaining on the clock, but the Blues are in possession. I don't think the Hurricanes would go for one last play. It's going to be knocked down by Geordie Barrett. It's going to be the advantage in play. The Blues back with the ball in hand. Now out wide. Chance here for Torian Barnes to show his bit of pace. I think that's actually Shay Clark wearing number 20. Appreciate your commentary, Hamish, bro. Always listening to you while working, and the penalty awarded to the Hurricanes. Right. This is where you avoid any chance of an injury. Even though they love to score points, you'd have to say the smart move here is to just get rid of this ball. Don't risk anyone else getting hurt and call this one a day. 57-21. That is what the Hurricanes have done here, ladies and gentlemen. They have come to Wellington and they have got themselves a massive victory over this Blues side who had a pretty rough finish to their season, but they were still in the semi-finals. They are defeated here today, 57 points to the 21. That now means, though, that the final is confirmed. It will be in Wellington, and it's Hurricanes versus Chiefs, 1 versus 2. Two sides that have not tasted a title in quite some time, but will get the chance to win it all next week. And, of course, we are going to be here doing the stream for it as well. When is Rasi announcing? Probably early week, I'd say, is when he will go with his side. There won't be too many surprises, I don't think, mainly because a lot of those uncapped guys will be playing in the South Africa A game up against Zimbabwe rather than playing for the Box. Now, the Hurricanes will host the Chiefs in the final next Saturday in Wellington. That will be the 7:05 p.m. kickoff, so same time as this match took place, ladies and gents. And yeah, we are going to be here for that matchup. There is also the game on Saturday morning, New Zealand time, taking place between Leinster and the Blues. Leinster and the Bulls. And then there's probably a premiership final thrown in there, as well as some internationals. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I said, we're back next week. We're back all throughout July with the rugby that has taken place too. Also, I will mention more than likely on Tuesday, we may even be back for the Football World Cup between New Zealand and Iran. And then on Wednesday, we will be back for State of Origin Game 2, which will be the Blues going head-to-head with the Queenslanders. But thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.